71.
Do you have the national days?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sweet. All right, yeah, let's start this thing.
Get it right here. All right, gang. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, dude.
Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh. It's a polo.
Oh no. Yeah.
It is February 13th of February.
Yep.
8,
That's
right?
what it is. What's that?
9.
9 a.m.
9 a.m. on a Sunday. Welcome, everybody, to the Art of
Hello.
Awesomeness podcast. My name is Christian Caito, also joined by your co-host,
Disgraceful.
Adrian.
Disgraceful host.
Adrian,
Yeah. Christian apparently has this huge disdain for polos, which I didn't know he had.
No, it's just you wearing a polo. It's not you.
Oh, so it's not even just polos. Wait, so if you wear a polo, which I know you have some.
Someone that I know wears a polo that I know shouldn't wear a polo. If Nick wore a polo, that's probably even worse. Lucas wore a polo. No, Ellison wore a polo. I'd be like, speaking of Ellison, if anybody,
okay, because that's our special guest for today.
Yes. Anyway, back into
we should just do a whole podcast on polos.
Polo.
Like, you know, Christian hates Hufflepuff. Christian hates polos. It's just like all of his friends in a polo.
I've grown a long way since becoming a Hufflepuff.
I think that you've degraded, to be honest. You've fallen away, my friend. You've fallen from grace.
Yeah,
oh well.
We've come a long way. I've come a long way. A lot of growing. It's been tough. Right, kids? I have kids.
Oh yeah, your poor children, man.
They're taking a nap. Anyways, before we talk about polos, National Day is February 13th. Happy Galentine's Day. Like Valentine's Day.
Like Galentine's Day?
But it's for girls. Women together celebrate each other every year before Valentine's Day. Women all have that one friend who cheers on her female companions. She is their best supporter, listener, and companion, and no matter what, she has your back. She's the lady who celebrates ladies, and today is the day, that day like women like that should throw a party. That kind of day, that kind of woman.
Wow, that sounds like a woman wrote it. Let's see. All right, let's see here.
Next, National Cheddar Day.
Cheddar Day?
Cheddar.
Damn.
Better cheddar on my letter, made out of a sweater. Ooh. National Cheddar Day. Basically, it's a cheese. National Tortellini Day. What is National Tortellini Day?
I don't know, Christian. What is it?
Tortellini is a signature dish from the Italian region of Bologna. It looks like bologna. It's the same way it's spelled as bologna. Bologna.
So is it bologna or is it like
Bologna, where they claim to have created the stuffed pasta packed with flavor, ravioli, tortellini, and tortellacci, are all part of the same family of stuffed pasta. The most common.
Christian, you're Italian. You should be acing this.
White meat and Parmesan cheese. And finally, Adrian actually tastes Super Bowl. So I mean, this relates to kind of aspect, but National Pork Rind Day. Oh, Adrian loves pork rinds.
I've actually never had them, so I'll try them soon. I'll try them, but
Chase loves. I mean, Chase, a friend named Chase, and some other people that we don't know named Chase. That we don't know anybody named Chase.
No,
that's a friend. A friend's name's Chase, and he loves pork rinds.
Yeah, he's never tried.
And no relation to anything or us. Anyway, pork rind, yeah, pretty much what it is. Variety of snack producers make these high protein, no carb, gluten-free, crunchy snacks, usually lightly seasoned with a little salt. Dieters turn to pork rinds to satisfy their munchies when they are avoiding chips. So a bit of a healthier alternative for chips, and perfect for game day today. For those of you that are watching the Super Bowl happening later on, something I've actually never had them as well, but I've heard about them here and there, and there's actually a day for them, which I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah.
for pork rinds, it really does show like the extent
I love how you seem so stressed out about
that they
this.
would go to make pork rinds. I swear, if there's a National Polo Day,
You should look that up actually, just to see.
well, anyway, wait. Oh, that's Polio Day. Oh,
I don't think that's a good thing.
no. Okay, wait. National Polo Shirt Day is Saturday, September 15th. Is that?
I don't know.
I'm mad. That's okay, because when you're mad, what do? You unwind, you relax. Part of doing that for me is watching movies. I don't know about Adrian. Adrian is
I see what you're doing. Smart. Tactical. I like it.
And speaking of movies, go watch our movie Jumanji out in theaters.
Yeah, it's starring Christian Caito and Adrian Kiswani. Christian's actually in a rock costume the whole time, and I'm in a Kevin Hart costume. It's pretty great.
He's the Jew, and I'm the Manji. Manja, Italian.
Okay.
On movies, we have a special guest today.
We do.
Adrian, do you want me?
Sure. Yeah. Ellison is a guy who we knew in high school. Really cool dude, down to earth, and he's really into movies. And so he's actually one of the few people who's actually reached out to us. And so this is why I encourage people to reach out, because the whole reason he ended up being on this podcast was, I believe he reached out to you first, Christian.
I think so.
I think that was the case. I don't know, but
yes.
At least I'm pretty sure that's how it happened. But he reached out, and so now he's on the podcast. We might have his brother on at some other later date. I don't know totally yet. We're still thinking about things. But I think that we had a really cool conversation. Christian and I are recording this kind of intro outro thing separately from the actual episode. It's actually the next day from when we actually recorded with Ellison. Which, if you're wondering why Polo Adrian is out, that's why. But yeah, really cool conversation with him. We had a pretty long conversation compared to some other conversations we have. I haven't looked at all the footage yet, to be honest, but I think it went on for quite some time.
Yeah.
So this is a longer one. So enjoy this episode. If you want to sit down, get some snacks, listen to us rant about movies.
Get some pork rinds.
Yeah, pork rinds. Put on your polos. Go off, man.
Anyway, enjoy this episode.
Enjoy this episode, guys. Oh, oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
It's him. It's Ellison. Ladies and
Mr.
gentlemen.
Ellie. Mr. Big E. It's the Big E. Big E.
How's it's actually going, the Swag Man. That's what it is.
The Swag Man. You're right.
The Swag Man.
We have
right
Mr.
here.
Swag Man on. We kind of already gave you guys an introduction beforehand, but Mr. Ellison, the Big E, Mr. Swag Man. How's it going, man?
Really good.
All right, that's the end of the episode. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Great.
And we'll see you guys next time.
All right, let's go.
So we're here. It is good to he turns off his camera. It's good to see you, man. I know we haven't seen. We were talking a little bit beforehand.
Yeah.
Before we did the introduction, you guys will see before we do national days and everything. We were talking, and we were just kind of catching up. We saw your brother too, the partner in crime, and he came in and said hi. So it was nice because I don't think I've seen you. I mean, you were telling us how you saw some people from high school, Lucas and some people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, more recently than we did. I think you probably saw them recently. I think unless Adrian's seen them.
I haven't seen them.
But for us, I don't think I've seen you since like the ending of senior year. Not even senior year, because a little bit before the ending of senior year because
Corona
pandemic. Corona. I haven't heard that yet. I just wow.
No one calls it that anymore. They just call it pandemic.
No, it's like Voldemort, but it's like more world known than Voldemort is code. But we're glad to have you on. How's it going, man? On a scale of 1 to 5, how are you doing?
Yeah.
I like that answer. That's a freaking good answer,
that too.
Dude.
You know it. That we also take. It's good that you're here, man. And, we kind of talked about this too a little bit, but you brought up a very interesting topic. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to say it yet. I wanted you to say it because you're the one that gave it to me when you reach out to me. And I think a topic as good as this one that we haven't done in depth, I think, in particular.
That's true.
I think I want you to introduce what we're going to be talking about today, Mr. Swagman. What are we talking about today?
Cinema or movies or What's the films?
Cinema, movie, film.
Yeah, and
Hollywood.
Right.
I just want to say right now, thank you for reaching out to us, because I know that because we ask on the podcast oftentimes, for anyone who watches regularly, you'll know that we are pretty often asking people to reach out, and if you want to be on the podcast, definitely reach out to us. Ellison actually reached out to us, which is like amazing. Like I was like, wait, someone actually like reached out, and so
that's a big deal.
I was like, one time I just looked at your Instagram, I was like, you know what? I want to join.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, you know what? I look at your YouTube channel, I just see featuring Nick Gordon, featuring Lucas Martin. I'm like,
Lucas Martin.
Oh, I haven't seen those guys forever. And I see Lucas with that like pyramid, like flying pyramid background behind him.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna join the podcast just because of that background. Just because of that background.
You're right. And it's not like we have any competition. Like it's not like there's a line right now, people lining up. So we're over the moon to have you on, man. Thank you for coming on. It's good to see you too.
A big podcast with like 6 or 5 people would be fun to have. Just have like 5 people to talk to.
That would be pretty epic. I think Lucas, one of the ideas that we had for because whenever we were talking about the 69th episode, we always just thought it was funny. And so we were basically going around. Yeah, because Nick was all like, guys, you got to have me on that episode, which of course we didn't have him on.
We didn't, nope.
I toyed around with the idea of us trying to we just start the Zoom call or whatever with like, I don't know, me and Christian or something like that. And then throughout the episodes, just us calling people, trying to get as many people on the podcast as we possibly can on one giant
I don't think we've
Zoom
done
call.
that yet. We haven't done that yet, and it hasn't worked out.
No,
it was always late when we tried doing it.
Do it for the 100th. Wait, which episode is this one actually?
This is 71.
71. You got 29 left.
71. Yeah, we got a few. So I mean, maybe for the big 00, we'll jump right into that. But till then, I think we're having a good lineup so far, especially when it's not only a good guest but a good topic. So I know, Ellison, when you reached out to me, I was very excited. You gave me a lot of we were talking a little bit beforehand about movies and this idea of kind of the themes and morals in each one. And I think that really just, so I reached out to Adrian, and then we kind of got inspired from you mostly to kind of compile just our thoughts. We had like a list for us, Adrian and I, beforehand. We composed a list, but it's not really in any particular order. And Ellison, as you guys know, I don't know about Ellison, but it seems like the way you talked about it too, man, when you reached out to me, you're like nerd. That's right. You're a big advocate.
What was kind of funny actually was I didn't realize how much I love movies until like during the pandemic. I had a friend talk to me on Discord, and then I was just like thinking about my major. He was like, hey Ellison, why don't you just do film since you watch movies a lot? I was like, and then at that time I was like, maybe film might be good, but then I realized how complicated film majors might be. So I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do that probably. But I just decided to continue watching movies throughout 2020 and 2021.
Right. So you built on it, right?
And
you
then
just kept it going.
And I was like, and then by the end of like, do you guys have Letterboxd?
You sent me.
It was like
tell me what that was. I actually did end up making an account, and I've been checking it out, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Basically, I think I read some, or I think I watched like right now probably 600, 700 films, like out of my entire lifetime, just like watching all the films in my life. And it kind of kept track of how many movies I watched from the past year, and it said like 200 films.
Damn, dude.
So it was like, I was like, you know what? Because like in the beginning of 2021, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch movies. I'm just gonna watch like one movie per day, or 2 movies per day if I feel like it.
Yeah, keep building on it. I like that, man. I like that for sure. Yeah, keep building. I know I've done that too, but probably I don't think it's been 200. Probably more than 200. No, I'm just kidding. No, probably no. I haven't. Yeah, you're probably.
I mean, if you watch all the Marvel movies, that's basically like 1/5 of 100 already now.
Yeah, I was gonna say over 200. I don't think there's 200. I thought there's 200 Marvel movies, but I mean, when we were talking about it
at this rate,
Instagram,
there will be.
Yeah, there will. Yeah, if they keep going with all the shows.
We're already at like 30 something. So.
I know.
And plus, there's X-Men and whatever.
Yeah, on Adrian, Ellison, one thing I noticed about you before we get into it, because I think the main thing about this episode, we're going to keep it light and kind of just talk about kind of some of our favorite movies, our thoughts about them, and just kind of go back and forth. Even if we don't reach all of our top 10 or top 20 or top 5, even however that works. The one thing I noticed about you, Ellison, that when you were talking to me like back and forth, is that you wouldn't only just tell me like the movies that you enjoyed, but you would like take that and then like talk about kind of what your favorite elements were
the summaries, in each one. Sometimes
summaries, what stood out to you.
Because that stood out to me. What's it called? The thing about when people do, like, I've seen forums of people suggesting movies, and the way I prefer to suggest a movie is I tell like the summary of it, but I don't want to spoil it, because sometimes someone might say something that might be very essential to the movie, like halfway through the movie in that review or like suggestion, and I didn't want to do that. So when I suggested Christian the movies, I tried to put in anything that's like significant about the movie. So like kind of like Shawshank Redemption, for example, is like there is a lot of things that could spoil the movie, but I just put in that's just a prison drama. That's it. And if you like dramas that are like, I don't know, like something dramatic, I don't know, I can't think of a movie right now, then you'll like this movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think one thing, I'm actually interested in seeing with you and Adrian how you guys will kind of bounce ideas off each other, because I think one thing that you guys both have in common is with Ellison or with Adrian. I know, because it wasn't that long ago we were talking about movies, and Adrian would bring up these elements of a movie that I didn't really see, but he also kind of was similar to you. He would like look at the big picture and how it applied to this and this and this part of the movie, and then similar to you, like you kind of add on to that. You take it like a step further by kind of not only like breaking it down, but like giving other people a platform, even those that are listening, to kind of think about the movie, even if you haven't watched the movie. I can tell like after this episode, like watching this and listening to you, it will give them, they'll probably not only want to watch the movie, but even if they didn't, they'll probably, the way you speak, they'll probably think along with us too. So I'm excited though. Adrian, you have any thoughts before we jump right into it?
I'm excited. I'm definitely not as much of a movie guy as I probably thought after hearing a lot of what Ellison had to say about things.
200.
Like you think
like if you just recount all the stuff that you watch in the past.
Yeah, if
you're at least 400, then you have to be sure to be a movie guy.
Yeah,
at least.
I've never actually counted the movies that I watched, and I remember when you sent me that letterbox thing.
Even the worst movies you watched as a kid, like I remember one that I watched was called Baby Geniuses. It was I
love that movie.
The funny thing is I watched the first one, the second one. I only watched those two, and those are my favorite childhood movies. I think a few years later, when I'm in high school, I searched up the movie again. So many YouTube videos talking about how it was the worst movie of all time. So many critics calling it literally like on their list, worst movies of all time.
Yeah.
I know there's a second one too.
You gotta love it when like your childhood movies just get ripped on when you're older.
It's so funny. It's so
man.
Funny.
Yeah, man, for sure. I love Baby Geniuses. See, making me remember things I just like completely forgot. I love it. So.
But I'm curious, obviously that this is a kind of a cinema or movie centric episode, but I wanted to just ask you kind of if you want to give a little bit of a synopsis as to what, got you into movies and why you're so interested in them to begin with. If you want to maybe, before we go into like lists and stuff like that, just kind of give a little explanation as to why it's in your interests.
Well, if you were to watch a TV show, it'll take forever. If you watch a movie, it's just a simple story that could just take 2 to 3 hours long, depending on how long the director wants it. And you basically get captivated in this world where you just like get into the story of like another person's perspective. And, it's kind of like if it's action, you could like, you see like that experience of like fighting that you've never seen before. And you could also kind of learn probably stuff from real life too from those movies. Or if it's drama, you could maybe historical drama, you could learn a lot of stuff from history too. It's kind of depends. And sometimes I have like these different moods to like watching movies. So like if I it's like at one point I just watched like one movie, like I don't know, like what's that one 90s movie? Clueless. You heard of that one?
Clueless. I like that movie.
The high school movie. I watched that recently actually. I started like watching like a movie like called 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah, I like that one too.
And then it's like what's the category under that? It's like chick flicks. That's like the teen 2000s 90s chick flicks. It's just like if I watch one of those and I like it, then I want to watch more of those for like probably take up to like an entire week of just wanting to watch more movies of those. So I watched that, and I watched Clueless, and then I watched like whatever else. I forgot the other movie. Mean Girls.
Mean Girls.
Yeah. all those movies that like girls would always watch in the 2000s. It's crazy.
And then would you say that you have like would you say that you have maybe a favorite genre, or are you just kind of
it's like
jack of all trades?
Yeah, kind of all trades actually. It's like I like action, I like drama, but not really the those like art type of people, like like the very niche group of like art nerds and like people who would be so much into how you say it
like really
it's like film. It's like people. It's like basically what film. Like how there's like a joke where like these are the type of movies that film majors would watch.
Oh,
like,
okay,
yeah. Kind of like the big film nerds. I'm a film nerd, but I'm not like
You're not like a huge crazy one.
Like I'm not gonna do like a 2-hour analysis on like on like one movie about like how it's about like ethics or drama or like I don't know some political themes.
Just like to enjoy it without like getting too much into it. Just like enjoying it for what it is.
A movie is still fun with political themes and like kind of social themes and stuff like that. But I mean, it's like if you make like a very very in-depth analysis on it, I won't probably read it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
that's good.
It's kind of like when you're watching a YouTube video and then you see someone comment and then there's a read more underneath. And you click and it's just like an essay about like this like 10-minute
you know what
video.
I hate the most actually?
Thesis.
Me and another friend actually hate this. Have you guys ever seen, because a lot of people don't like the Star Wars sequels, so these people would make like 2 to 3 hour long videos just saying why, or probably even double the time frame of the what's called one movie, so like probably 5 hours long, probably, about how either, let's say, Star Wars The Last Jedi sucks, or maybe the last Star Wars film, The Rise of Skywalker sucks. It's just like, I mean, yeah, it's an analysis, probably like it could take up to 30 minutes or an hour, but I mean 3 hours, really?
Yeah, at some point it just kind of becomes ranting. It doesn't.
It feels like you don't have to make it that long. You could probably just type it out in the essay, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a different niche for everybody.
I know. Do we have any like list of questions talking about movies or something, or do we just go ahead?
I don't think I don't think we have. There's no how we kind of like the theme of each episode that we try to do, depending on each one, but especially this one for something that we really do enjoy and something that we are going to do with someone that enjoys movies as well, is just to keep it light, And I think, honestly, Adrian, I was thinking, for what it's worth, we do have a list. But I think depending on, because I think we can get like pretty in depth with our topics sometimes. Yeah. So I'm actually willing to bet that I won't even get to say like all my top 10, or so I won't even get to say like 8, because that could be for a good thing too, because we might just talk about just like a few movies at hand, but it could be like really in-depth ones too. So but yeah, there's no really set questions.
What's it called? How about let's list all the movies first, and
That's
then
right.
just choose like which ones you want to do in-depth like explanation on, like why it's your top movie.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna do my top 5 first. Actually, no. Ellison, you're our guest. I think at first, before we do bulking and go on with our list, I think we should all just go around and say our number one. So Ellison, then Adrian, then I'll go. Our number one, and then we'll just keep at it. So Ellison, what's your first one? What's your number one, man?
Number one. I don't have, because the thing is, in my top 10 list, it's just munched up into like random orders. So it's like I don't really have a number one, but probably to start off the list, I would put in The Social Network.
The Social Network with Eisenberg.
That's kind of funny story. Because the whole like all these characters, all like the awesome like kind of like the scummy douchebag that Mark Zuckerberg is in the movie, even though he's like supposed to be like this douchebag genius for kind of betraying all these people and doing it for his own self-interest. He's just like the opposite of the real life Mark Zuckerberg now.
Really? I always wonder that, like, how does he feel about being portrayed as such?
It's like,
a bad guy.
It's like you see this Mark Zuckerberg in the movie and you want to root for him, or you want to root for like someone else, but like he's such a good kind of like protagonist, antagonist for being such a a betrayer to all his friends. And then you see this real life Mark Zuckerberg, and he wants to build the metaverse, and he wants to install some like
that's right.
I don't know, crypto mumbo jumbo in what's it called, Facebook or something. So it's like complete opposites, yet this movie is like one of my most favorite drama films of all time. Literally a top film of the 2010s.
Really? Okay, top. It has good actors too. I will say this before we get into it. But it does have good actors. Andrew Garfield. I know he's in.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the one that's the one guy I know from that movie is Andrew Garfield.
Of course,
his acting was
Andrew
so
Garfield.
good.
Of course. Yeah, Andrew Garfield. So yeah, he was. I haven't seen it, but I know just anything with Andrew Garfield. Like, sign me up, man. Like, he's the cool guy. Sign me up. Social Network. That's a good one. What about you, Adrian?
I kind of shift around every once in a while, but I would say that the one that I always kind of happen to go back to, which is why I have it at the top of my list, would be Legends of the Fall. That's probably my favorite.
Still to this day, it's a movie that I'm like, to this day, it's a movie that I'm like, oh, like that's one of his favorites. Like, oh, that's weird. Usually it's because it's not like just an action, I guess. It's more of just kind of like this gritty, heartfelt kind of movie, right? It's something that if you met Adrian and just kind of getting to know like the kind of person that he is, I would have thought it was like his number one. It was like an action movie or something. Just compared to, not saying that it doesn't have any action, but it's like it's different kind of action
more
than you would think.
Of a drama. I think I sent it to Ellison and I just kind of described it as like this kind of a Western historical like drama thing. But, I would say I think all of my top 5 movies have been introduced to me by my dad, and so he really has been the one who's like provided me with like movies to watch that he really holds dear. So like Legends of the Fall is one of his favorite films, and so I ended up watching it, and I love the movie. I'm a big fan of the acting in it. I think when I was reading reviews of it, one of the biggest complaints I think was that it was like corny, or is that it was a bit cliche.
Legends of the Fall.
Yeah, so to be honest, I never really saw that in the film. Maybe it's just because I'm kind of blind to it, just because it's my favorite film. That could 100% be the case. But just whenever, I've never not been in a mood to watch that movie. You know how certain movies you have to be in a certain mood to watch them. Like, I'm not in the mood to watch
to grasp
movie.
It fully. Yeah,
like Legend of the Fall is just one of those movies where like if it's on, or like there's an opportunity to watch it, I just kind of have to, like, I'm gravitated towards it. Like I have to finish the movie now. It's just
you have to watch it.
Yeah. So
is it number 1 or number 10 movie?
I would say it's in the top list, but I would say that it is. Whenever I write down lists, the first one I list is Legends of the Fall, so I would like technically classify as number 1. So,
just to be safe, Legends of the Fall.
Just to be safe, I would say that one is a strong contender.
Yeah, I remember watching that movie with you, Adrian. It was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. I didn't know it existed.
Yeah, most of the movies I've shown Christian, like he'll at the end he'll be like, it's funny. Like he'll watch the movie and then he'll be like, whatever.
That's pretty good.
Like,
okay,
right.
that's okay though, because like it's
I just think it's funny. I'm not clowning on you or anything, but
Adrian,
it's just
Adrian in his mind is like, wow, this is the best movie I've ever watched.
I'm just like,
and then Christian's over here after watching. He's like,
it's kind of when you hype something up really high up in your mind, and then you think everyone's gonna love it, and then whenever someone watches it, you're like, you don't like this, and then they're just like, nah, it's fine. You're like,
it was pretty good. It had some highlights.
Well, so what about you, Christian? What would you say is like around your top?
It's movie? Actually so my top, or my kind of like my number 1 I don't know. It's something that I don't think a lot of people have heard of. It's not really that popular of a movie. It's a foreign movie actually. It's a foreign movie because it takes place in different countries. But I don't think many people have heard of it. But it's still probably one of my favorite movies is John Wick. Yeah, I don't know.
Foreign movie.
Did you just say that not many people have heard of it?
Yeah, it's not many people know about that movie. It's kind of like an indie film,
for
indie
sure.
action. So
it just has Keanu
Reeves. Film
Reeves.
majors watch it.
Yeah, so I know it's not really that popular.
I like how Ellison and I just subconsciously had to take a drink after you said that.
It's not, but for what it's worth, if you guys do know what I'm talking about, it's basically I'm surprised if you I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't know.
I've heard of it. I hope that movie has like probably a sequel or two, or maybe
it'd be
cool if they made some sequels. I'd be
they made like Lego sets or something. Yeah, that would be cool. But for what it's worth, if you do know it is, John Wick would probably have to be like.
They probably have like some actors from like some other movies too, like from the '90s or something.
Yeah.
That would be cool. You know what? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to that kind of stuff. Hopefully, it's. If you guys know what I mean, search it up. Just search up foreign indie John Wick, and you guys should. You should find one.
You know what I think is funny, Christian, is how when you were saying that if you knew me, my personality, Legends of the Fall might not be the one you go to because it'd probably be like action. I feel like that's the one that like people might mistake it for, like, oh, it's probably just like John Wick or something. It's all like dark
Legends
and edgy and stuff.
It's probably the same thing.
All right, before that, what was it called? I was actually wondering, Christian, why don't you explain like maybe not just John Wick, but like how about the rest of the 9 movies you put in your top 10?
The rest?
Yeah.
Okay, the rest. All right, I'm going to build it in suspense. Before I get into the rest of them, because it's going to be a crazy list, we're going to take a brief but amazing intermission, hand selected by my man, Big E Swagman. We will be right back in 5 seconds-ish for after this intermission.
Wake the up, samurai. We have a city to burn. Check this out.
Back from that intermission, Ellison, thank you so much. Whenever I think of Ellison, I think of that intermission because that's my personal favorite intermission. And Ellison knows exactly what intermission it is because we are on the same brainwave and we're actually, what is it called, Ellison, when you guys can like, is it telekinesis? Telepathy. We have perfect telepathy, and thank you, Ellison, for picking that. But you did ask me a question. My remaining 9 or so, I'm not gonna lie, I don't. So when I was telling you I made a list top 10, I actually only had like about. Oh wait, I do have 10. Okay, so ready. I'm just gonna jump right into it. We don't have to dive into it, but dive into it right now. John Wick, Spider-Man, just in general, like Spider-Man. Spider-Man. If I had to pick a favorite Spider-Man, probably the Andrew Garfield one. The second one in particular, I know it gets a lot of bash, but I think that was good for me. Spider-Man, Indiana Jones, especially Temple of Doom, Star Wars, especially
that's a controversial
Episode 3.
opinion.
Excuse me? Okay, for controversy, Temple of Doom is pinnacle, but after Temple of Doom,
do you feel about
third
this one,
Star
Adrian?
Wars. Star Wars, Back to the Future, Gremlins, Pirates of the Caribbean, Toy Story, Solo, the Han Solo movie, and the Lego movie. The Lego movie. I know you like that.
I'm very surprised about that movie. I'm very surprised.
I mean, do you guys want to tell me yours? You want to jump into questions? Are we going to have some controversy?
All right. I'll drop the rest of my 10. And Adrian can drop his.
Okay,
all right,
let's go. Drop it.
All right. So beginning with Social Network, and then I put in the rest of the list, all in random order. The Dark Knight, Lord of the Rings, most specifically, The Fellowship of the Ring, Vertigo by Alfred Hitchcock, Fight Club, Terminator 2, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Nice.
This one's anime movie is called Your Name.
Okay.
The Shawshank Redemption and Empire Strikes Back.
Shawshank.
That's a solid list.
Okay, so see, we have we have some in terms of like the series. We kind of have some overlapping.
Yeah, I think we all got Indiana Jones somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere. But what about Adrian?
Okay,
Adrian.
I got a little bit crazy. I went with top 16 because
okay, hey,
I don't know.
Go ahead,
but
man.
I'll run through them. I won't keep you guys. Okay, so in the list, no particular order, but I think the ones at the top are definitely the higher ones. We got Legends of the Fall, The Count of Monte Cristo, Amadeus, The Man in the Iron Mask, Slumdog Millionaire, Dances with Wolves, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Forrest Gump, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, Zack Snyder's 300. We have Troy, Star Wars Episode 3, The King, The Cat in Paris, Hot Rod, and Nacho Libre.
Cat in Paris. Okay, it's funny because I remember watching some of these movies with you, so I can like Legends of the Fall, I can kind of skip back. But Ellison, what the heck, man? Calling me out on controversy. On what grounds? What's happening? We got Crusade. We got Raiders of the Lost Ark. What's going on?
Yeah, we actually all did like the top 3.
Okay, here's my Indiana Jones list. It is the first one is Raiders of the Lost Ark because in my opinion, I don't think it's like you can't really beat anything. It's just like the formula.
Yeah.
And then number 2 is number 2 on the list is Last Crusade. I like that one a lot. Number 3, I'm kind of tied between Temple of Doom and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It's like in that in between 3. It's like I don't really like those two that much. Although I did kind of like Crystal Skull at the time as a kid, but then watching it now,
Alien one that was a different thing.
It was like a really weird thing to have. But
whenever I think of that movie, I just think of that like atomic bomb scene with him in the fridge, and I'm just like, nope.
Yeah, that was my favorite, dude. I should have put Crystal Skull, but Temple of Doom, come on, man. It's just like it's anything. Any second movie in any series, for the most part, like Back to the Future. In the second movie, that one was my favorite. Second one in Kung Fu Panda, when he harnessed that little chi ball. That was my favorite. Something about the number 2 just gets it right for me. And I think that does not fall short when it comes to
the way I see it, to be honest, is like, because Temple of Doom, it's like, there's nothing memorable about it. I don't see anything memorable.
Yeah,
except for the beginning part in Shanghai. That's the thing I remember the most about the movie.
Okay.
Everything else, all I remember a little bit was that there was like a bit of slavery in India, and
and
then there were just and then there were just like they were inside like this Taj Mahal like temple in India, and then they kind of had this village, but then it's like I didn't really see any cool action. Like I don't remember any cool action sequences. I think there was like a bridge or something at the end. But
I'm with Ellison in the fact that if you were to put it on a list, I would probably say. So I think that The Last Crusade is my favorite Indiana Jones film, and then I would go Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and then the Crystal movie. I think that with the Temple of Doom, my favorite part about that movie was definitely the kid Short Round, and then his kind of
I forgot about him.
Yeah, his like kind of dynamic with Indiana Jones. I thought that whenever Indiana Jones has like a good dynamic with someone, like whether it be his dad or that kid, I thought it was a nice kind of a trade-off of those characters. But other than that, I think what happened with those movies is that Temple of Doom went in a different direction, as most sequels do from the first one, and then with the third Indiana Jones, they reeled back to kind of capture the image of the first movie.
Oh yeah, I remember it was dark.
It got pretty dark in that movie, which I liked. I don't dislike that movie. I like the Temple of Doom, but I think if you were to compare it to the first and the third, I think I would have to put those two ahead of that one.
Okay.
That's just my what makes you like that movie so much, Christian?
First thing, mine carts, man. The epic minecart scene, man. That was I had that on the edge of my seat.
The only reason why I remember that scene was because of the Lego game. That's it. Just the Lego game.
Okay. But even better, even better. It was in a Lego game and they recognized the potential. Minecart, and remember that one scene where they were eating like a bunch of exotic foods like monkey brains and everything. At first I thought it was weird, but then I was like, that's cool. That is cool. And then we had a little Asian kid and they were in Shanghai. They drove a cool car. and like they were like riding around on elephants.
That was great.
The kid drove the car. That inspired me to steal a car, and I was like, wow, like that's if this Asian boy can do it and he gets paid to do it, I can do the same thing. So I was like, you know what, I'm inspired. I'm
and
inspired
now you're
by
studying
exotic
psychology.
food, and now I'm studying psychology, paying for my mistakes. So you know, there's a lesson to be learned there. But either way, I liked it because the main thing was the minecart, and plus there was a little, you know, there was something for everyone. Especially it's because I think a big element of that movie is just like you're right, slavery. Slavery is a big thing. But I don't know. When I was younger, I really, even now, I just something about bullies, and I just associated those like slave masters as bullies. I don't know. It still ticks me off. So I have like a little like John Wick bone in me that just like makes me like tick when I see bullies. I think I told Adrian too when I was watching Back to the Future, I just wanted to punch Biff. I was like, oh, like,
do you remember
this is how I would do it.
Game idea we had with that right idea of Biff's cane?
Biff's cane. Yeah, watch our most recent episode where we talked about that.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
the big thing when you see at the end, especially when you see he's being mean to these kids, and then all of them rally against him, like like that was an uplifting moment where it was like, wow, like these kids, like they got it. And you know, I think the kid in there was a scene where this kid, he came back from the temple and he was wheezing. It sounded like he had asthma. I'm like, wow, there's an asthma kid in this movie. Like I have asthma, so just like the little.
Wow, Indiana Jones had asthma. That's crazy.
And I have asthma. When was the last time you saw an asthma, a hero with asthma, man? That's
dude,
like
all
rare.
the freaking time.
Where?
They have a Netflix show about Tall Girl, dude. They'll do any kind of a thing.
Exactly, but there's nothing about asthma in Indiana
Never
Jones.
watch a second show. Never watch a Netflix.
The second one just did it for me, man. I don't know what it was. It just did it for me. I don't know.
Speaking of what's it called? Speaking of Adrian's Netflix comment, a reminder on what I should do now in the future from watching all these Netflix movies is to never watch a Netflix movie. Never watch a Netflix an original movie.
Never. Yeah.
After watching like what movie I watched. You know, do you guys know Rashawn?
Rashawn, yeah.
Or Rashawn Ramesh. I went to his house. And I saw he had Netflix, and then we had this party, and we watched. I just saw this movie where I remember it was like considered one of the worst movies of Netflix, and I was like, it can't be that bad, and I watched it, and it was called Swiped.
Swiped. I can't even say I've ever heard of that.
It was starring that guy from the Boys I Loved Before. I think it was Noah Centineo.
Oh, I haven't.
Noah Centineo or something.
Okay.
It's like there's just like this like hot dude that girls like love because he's just hot. That's it. But he like all the movies he's been in the past, just like he's just there because he's hot. That's it. It's like probably didn't have any acting skills before that, so it was like watching this movie was very painful to watch because it like went all over the place for no reason. So. It's like it was about it's like about like a dating app, and then something about someone developing the dating app, and then like the hot guy forces this guy to make the dating app, and then it just goes all over the place, and it's just like at the end of the movie, it's like this guy who's supposed to be the a-hole of the movie is now, I guess, a good guy because he's now like apologized, I guess, to this one girl who was nowhere near relevant to the movie, actually, I think.
Really?
And then it just made my mind hurt. And it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm just going to give this movie probably a 0 out of 10. Just for, it's like, it even had it was like, I remember seeing the mom from Good Luck Charlie, and I was like,
oh yeah.
What is she doing here? It was like, and I realized like,
represent.
Oh, this movie must be so bad that they had to get Disney actors in it. Probably Disney Channel actors.
Jake Paul.
Probably.
Yeah, that's interesting. I agree with you in that a lot of Netflix original content suffers a great deal from a lot of
I remember
I guess
one
a lack
movie,
of attention.
Red Notice with the Dwayne Johnson.
I loved that movie. That was a good one.
You loved it?
That was a great. I love that. Yeah, that was so good. Like
I never watched.
Wait, hold on, Christian. I can't tell if because sometimes you just kind of like joke around about bad movies. But
that was a good movie. That was a good. I'm surprised you haven't watched it because
I just want to make sure. I'm just checking.
There's Indiana Jones references in that one too, so that was cool. And the humor, the action, like it was easily one of my favorite movies. I don't know. I didn't put that one.
What was it called? From all of the. I looked at some forums, like comment sections also about this movie because I didn't know what this movie was going to be about. And every time I see a comment at the beginning, at the top, like the most favorited comment, someone would say, this movie looks like it was written by like a script generator. It was written by a bot. It was written it looked like it was written by a bot for like the most popular things they want to find in a movie, and they just compiled it into one script, and that script
it works because it was a great movie.
And then they get the most generic, like popular actors right now in Hollywood, Wonder Woman, The Rock, and Deadpool together in one movie, and they make the most generic movie of all time. And then I was great. Like, you know what? I'd rather watch the worst movie of all time than just simply the most generic movie of all time.
Yeah, I guess if you can watch the worst one, at least there's like
you
stuff
get entertained
you can like
by how
The Room or something.
I'm telling you,
like
man,
that.
you can't always trust the comments too, though, because there are a lot of movies though where people would tell me their own point of view, or they like read the comments, or I don't really trust Rotten Tomatoes either.
Oh no, don't trust Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, the thing about Rotten Tomatoes, it's like the way it works is that it's not like a 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10, and then they compile it all together into one average score. What they do is they find all the reviews that are yes or no, compile it together, and then the percentage is just how many yeses and how many nos. That's it. So it's like you could literally give it a 6 out of 10, and like probably in their minds a 6 out of 10, and it's like mostly good, and that could technically count as a yes, even though it should be a 6 out of 10.
Right, so they'll just take that as like 100%. This movie is like up here, and I see what you're saying.
It's just a 0 to 100 scale. It's like binary. It's like, but then the thing is that movies aren't like that. It's just like there's always a middle somewhere.
Yeah, I would say that as I was saying, I agree that generally speaking, Netflix movies and kind of like original content isn't the greatest. But what's interesting is that one of my, I think it was like, because again, I had like 16 top movies. One of those top movies for me is a Netflix movie. I think I might have sent that to you as well, called The King. Yeah,
The King.
And so that movie, I think it has Timothée Chalamet in it, which I realize now is kind of like it's a thing because he's a big actor that a lot of people like.
He's probably the most relevant guy I've seen on Twitter so far because so many girls love his tall,
immaculate jawline.
Jawline, tall body, and Twinkie body.
Yeah, well, he was in a movie too.
I would say that I saw that movie before I knew anything about him, so I actually didn't know that he was like a big actor. So I kind of was able to go into it without any preconceived idea of like him or any of the other actors in it, because I didn't really know who they were. So maybe that helped the experience. But I would say that movie was if anyone does want to watch like a Netflix movie, I would say that The King is a worthwhile one, because at least the movies that I enjoy, a lot of them are very kind of I don't know what the category would be, but it would be historical, maybe like medieval, sword and shield, that kind of a thing. So
honestly, now that you put in like instead of top 10, top 16, because all the movies I put down, I kind of rate those like 5 out of 5. And since I guess I could just expand on my list, then I could say I have like a few more movies to say actually.
Yeah, for sure.
That are within that range. One is, I think it was this anime movie called Spirited Away.
Oh, I've heard about that one.
Oh, I've heard about that too.
Second one is another anime movie. It's called A Silent Voice. It's really good. It's mainly about what's it called? The deaf, like sign language, all that stuff. Pretty much just as a drama. Another one would be animated, but it's Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah,
okay, yeah. That's a good one.
Another fourth would be Mad Max Fury Road. Probably, definitely the best Mad Max movie I've ever watched. And fifth, Parasite.
I've been wanting to watch that movie.
That was an interesting movie.
So that was kind of
scary.
I think I have like a top 20 actually. It's like, and then there's like, okay, Psycho.
Psycho.
What was it called? Silence of the Lambs, and Toy Story. I think Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2.
Toy Story.
What else can I put down? I'm trying to look at my list. Ooh, this one's tough actually. Maybe 7 actually. 7. Have you guys ever watched it?
Oh,
what's that one movie about? 7, Brad Pitt?
Yeah, Morgan Freeman. That movie was actually really crazy. I already know the ending, but I was like,
oh my god,
still
what's
watching
in the
it
box?
still from beginning to end. It's like even though I know what happened, it's like that acting was insane.
Yeah, that's yeah, I mean, it's a movie that creeps me out, and so I don't watch it a whole lot, but when I watch it, I'm just
Kevin
like,
Spacey was a pretty good actor as a villain, and even good real life villain too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good in that movie. I like the
What's the plot of that one?
The plot of 7? Yeah, I'll let Allison take this. He probably has a better synopsis.
Well, I think it's like Morgan Freeman is kind of like a cop, I guess, in this city. And then Brad Pitt's like a new guy, a new cop who moved into the city. And then the city has this problem with a new serial killer who's killing like these people. And then it turns out that these people were dying because of specific sins. So it could be a flat guy, could be, or fat guy, like with like very morbid obesity, could be killed because of a gluttony, one of the 7 deadly sins. So they're all killed by a specific 7 sin, and that's why it's called 7, basically 7 sins of like humanity or something.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say it sounds familiar. It sounds familiar. I think I put it on my watch list.
And then
it's like buried
my final top 10 or like 10 out of 10 film would be Schindler's List.
Oh, Schindler's List. That's a good movie.
About that one.
That is a long movie, but it's such a good sad movie that you will like it for being sad. You'll be by the end of the movie, you'll be so sad, but you'll be just so
it'll be
satisfied of how good this movie is. It's just like at the end it'll just make you like, wow.
Man.
And the fact that it's based off of real life is not just some like historical fiction movie, kind of like Saving Private Ryan. It's like it's like it just like hits deep that it's such a real story.
Yeah, it kind of it eliminates a lot of fluff that movies often put and just kind of cuts down right to the bone of like a certain thing. Like
it's like you think like this is like, you know, a fiction movie. It's like it's like a metaphor for like humanity sucks, but like no, this actually happened in history, and this is like the part where humanity actually sucked in history.
Yeah, and it highlights that very well.
Yeah.
You know, you brought up a few movies like Spirited Away, which I haven't seen, and
I haven't.
A few other, you know, just.
The funny thing is that when I watched that movie, actually, that was the first. I think. No, actually, probably my second anime movie I watched. Back then, and out my entire life, my 5th grade teacher actually showed that movie to me.
Oh, really?
To my whole class, actually.
Really?
Like, there was 2 movies that she showed the class at the end of the school year, and it was Spirited Away, and another one was called Bridge of Terabithia.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Except the Bridge of Terabithia was like, there's like 2 movies. There was like the crappies, like 80 movies for like television, and then the one where it was made for theaters, and it made probably a lot of people cry.
Yeah.
And my teacher gave my class the crappy 80s one.
Oh, really? we got the good one when we watched it.
But I watched the good one.
Did you watch it?
But before I watched that one, I watched the good one at home by myself. So I was like, 5th grade me was like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
I was like, what kind of movie is this? I thought it was supposed to be like a fun Narnia movie.
Yeah, no, it didn't.
It's kind of funny because you guys already watched the movie, right?
The Bridge of Terabithia, I have. Yeah.
Sounds familiar. I don't think I have.
Okay, if you watch the movie, what's it called? Christian is gonna be probably kind of a crazy movie for you too.
Crazy. It sounds crazy. What you guys are talking about?
But
sounds wild.
Basically, if you saw the like, I didn't know anything about the movies, like trailers or promotion or anything, but if you watch the trailers, Adrian, you will see it is the complete opposite of what the movie is.
Really?
They treat the movie like it's Narnia, like it's Lord of the Rings or something, like kids going to Lord of the Rings. They made the trailer like that, and that is not the movie at all.
No. I remember the context in which I watched it was we were reading the book in class was
There was
what
a
we
book?
were doing. Yeah, so it's based on a book from
That's
what
why
I
we watched the
understand.
movie in the first place, actually.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so basically our teacher, we were reading through it. I can't remember if it was when we were in school Christian or if it was before I moved to Mountain House, but anyways, we read the book, and then once we had finished the book as a class, we ended up watching the movie. And so I think that having that kind of dual aspect of having the book's perspective and then right after finishing it watching the movie, it was I think that's the first time I ever like did a direct book to movie comparison, like back to back. And so that was interesting. But yeah, that's a good movie. I like that movie from what I remember. I haven't watched it in a long time.
When did it come out?
The good one or the 80s one?
The good one was like around mid 2000s, I think. 2000. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember the guy from Hunger Games? The PETA?
Yes.
Yeah,
that was when he was still probably like a slightly chubby small kid.
A chavo.
Yeah, you would not
chavo.
like. He's like a probably. If I'm standing up right now, he'd probably be this tall right here.
Yeah, he was in those. Did you guys ever watch those Journey to the Center of the Earth movies?
I was just about to ask you.
Yeah,
that.
like he's like
I like those
he's
ones.
like
I like
at
them too.
the Zathura age right there. Zathura. If you guys ever,
I like that movie. Have you guys? That's been a while since I've seen Zathura.
Yeah,
I remember. I like that movie. Have you seen that, Adrian?
No, I have not.
You
was
haven't?
I think it was based off of a book, and it was supposed to be a sequel.
I think it was.
And
oh really?
But it was supposed to be a sequel to Jumanji because the same author of Jumanji, and or it's a separate story but still connected. But then they made the movie, and it's nowhere near connected to the original Jumanji.
Really?
So it's like its own story.
That's cool that it's still like related to like the same author and everything. That's cool. But yeah, that's so cool. So I have to ask because I think Ellison, I think a while ago we were talking about the Lego movie. I think that was one of the conversations I do remember having with you was about the Lego movie, I think, and talking about the Lego movie. And when the second one came out, we were talking about that. It was with you. I think it was
back
with
in. Wait, did we talk about this in high school, or was it
high school? Yeah, high school.
Yeah, I kind of got.
I remember.
I got spoiled on a comment section Instagram about the second movie. I was like, dang it. I want to watch that movie.
Dude, okay,
no.
so you like the Lego movie. Which one was your favorite?
I never watched the second one, actually.
Why?
Because I got spoiled and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to watch it. But then
no.
I was like, I kind of got angry of that. But in the end, someone told me, it was just kind of like a meh movie. So it was like, I never bothered to watch it anyways.
I liked it. Adrian, did you watch the second one?
I did, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to watch it's probably the first one that's always going to be better, to be honest.
So which one did you guys?
It's like, I think because the first one had like a bigger commentary behind it, even though some people call it like it's a very consumer movie. Like it's just like it forces you to buy more Legos, but that's kind of part
it
of
made me buy more Legos.
I mean that's kind of like, I guess that is the point of the movie. Just like that's the point of like many movies, like Star Wars. Literally the point of Star Wars is to sell more merch of like these toys. Like
I mean, especially if you can, like.
Yeah, you know what I always found funny though is that the one movie I felt like really didn't do that was Toy Story.
Really?
The Toy Story movies,
funny because it's like all about toys.
Like, did not go merch heavy at all compared to like
they
Star
didn't
Wars.
Need to. They already got their own toys.
All right.
Yeah,
which one was your favorite Toy Story?
Second one. No, actually.
The second one.
I had the worst experience for the third one, to be honest.
Really?
What my dad did was he found like this pirated Toy Story 3 in a disc. And he just gave it to me, and I was just so confused what was going on. And then the quality of that scene when they were going into the trash compactor or something, or not, it was like that heat,
the
that garbage
Inferno.
heat, the Inferno. It was like a 144p. Like it was like so blurry, and it was not to mention it was like recorded on like a camera, because it was not, you're not a theater, you're like literally just a disc from like some pirated store or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it was the worst experience I had. So it was like I just didn't get anything out of it. But then when I watched the second Toy Story, it was like I watched it on Netflix as like second grade, and I was like, oh,
Oh, because now
this
that
was.
you can stream all of them now.
But I rewatched it and I liked it. Probably the second one is always gonna be my favorite. That part when that
The
guy is
second one.
cleaning Woody, that was my
That
most.
is such a great scene.
That was satisfying.
That was.
Oh, that was
That
so
was the
satisfying.
before
That
there
was
were like
ASMR.
before there were YouTube videos that like were all about
Woody
satisfying.
clean.
Like the
I wonder
1,000.
how many people just searched
like-
up Woody being cleaned.
Before
man
before
from Toy Story.
ASMR and restoration videos appeared on YouTube, we had that guy in animation.
Yeah, before we had that like 1,000
We
degree
had
knife
Woody.
cutting through things. You know, it was just.
Actually, I have a question for you guys too.
What's
Oh
up?
yeah.
What is the best movie you did not expect at all, thinking that it was gonna be like a mid or bad movie?
Oh,
okay.
I got a pretty quick answer to that.
What is that?
Slumdog
Which one?
Millionaire. For sure.
Slumdog Millionaire. Isn't that about
That's-
Snoop Dogg?
Just because it says dog in the name.
Wow. Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with that. Nothing at all.
I think it has something to do with Snoop Dogg.
No, it's I don't know if it's Bollywood, but I think it's an Indian film. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's
I haven't
from
seen
that.
it. But
Yeah,
you
yeah.
liked it? You ended up liking it.
Yeah, well, just kind of because I'm definitely more into kind of medieval historical films and that kind of a thing. And so this was a film that was outside of, I guess, the genre in which I usually kind of stick to as far as movies go. Because I'm not really a person who jumps around with a bunch of different movies. I usually kind of stick towards a certain category. That's just kind of my style.
Yeah.
But just hearing the title Slumdog Millionaire, I was kind of like, this is an interesting name. You know, I didn't really think too much of it. And then I wasn't really into foreign films or films that were made in different countries. But it surprised me because of how well put together it was. You know, the story, it's one of those films where at the beginning you're kind of confused as to what you've been dropped into, but throughout the story everything kind of weaves its way together to where you completely understand everything that's going on, and it's just kind of like an aha moment where you're like, oh, okay, everything I just saw makes complete
It's like
sense
starts
now.
to become like cohesive and everything.
Yeah, but the way in which it becomes cohesive, I think, is very unique, and it's the way in which the story is kind of told from present to past is, I think, done very very well. And it surprised me in that it like shot up to like, oh my god, this is one of my favorite movies now, to where I thought this might just be one of those movies where you just check out just to see it. So yeah, I would say that movie.
So yeah, it exceeded expectations.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would say it's a 10 out of 10 movie.
That's good. Okay.
How about you? Do you have anything, Christian? That might
I don't see. It's funny that you say this because actually, Adrian's the one that kind of taught me. He was like, if you don't have any expectations at all, then you can't go wrong.
Don't turn me into
like,
Zendaya, dude. Don't turn me into Zendaya from the Spider-Man movie.
What do you mean? That's what you told me.
If you have no, yeah, that's true. That's fair.
You told me, you're like, if you don't have high expectations, then you won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
And ever since that, I just took that with me. I'm like, oh, okay. But
yeah.
I don't know. The last time, so something that ended up being a good movie that I didn't.
Yeah, like you just went into it thinking like whatever, but then you came out of it going, oh, I didn't expect it to be that good, you know, kind of.
I think Hacksaw Ridge, I think, was good. You know,
that one.
Andrew Garfield was in that one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Hacksaw Ridge was a good one. I went into it. I think I saw it with my dad. And at the time, I was younger and I wasn't really into like war films. I thought they were boring. But I don't know. Like, I don't even think I was supposed to see it. I don't even think it was like rated R. I think, but it was. What's the rating on that? What was Hacksaw Ridge?
It's probly rated R.
It was like
Either way.
it was good.
Because it was gory. It was gory, so it had to be. Yeah, it had to be rated R because it was too gory to be like PG-13.
Nah, it's rated G or World War II rated G.
Rated G.
Like, go get him,
Educational
Tiger.
purposes.
Yeah, but that was good. So I didn't really like war movies. I went into it though, but something about it though, it really had me on the edge of my seat, and I was not expecting it to. For a second, I kind of forgot that I was watching the movie in the first place because remember the whole time in the beginning too. You're kind of like, "Hi, Mom. My mom's coming downstairs."
Oh, nice.
So you all want me to acknowledge you.
Hi, Christian's mom.
Hi. Everyone says hi. No, it's okay. Make noise. Maybe I'll get something because later on I'll come.
Ask her favorite movie.
What's your favorite movie, Mom? 16 Candles. 16 Candles.
Actually, that was on my watch list too.
Oh really?
That's on your watch list.
Like I have like 100 movies on my watch list, and that was like one of them.
What is
that's
this
one of them? You can't go wrong. My mom loves that.
It's one of those. It's actually one of those teen, like the movies I watched already. Like Mean Girls.
It's a classic.
Got you.
Yeah, it's like that one. Like
nice.
So that's hers. Yeah. That's I think that's like her pinnacle favorite movie. But for me, like Hacksaw Ridge, like again, I don't really have that much to say about it, but it was something that I went in. And I think especially too because the whole premise is this dude that doesn't like to use guns, right? Like this whole thing about like using guns, and he's in like the military, and so that kind of was like, oh,
and
that's weird, like because that's kind of like
Christian.
Yeah, that's right. And he was.
He's you.
He was religious too, so that really makes you think. And then there were times there's like a lot of
I'm
like.
Sure if no one knows, I just said like a pretty bad pun.
Oh no, it doesn't.
Oh no,
because he's Christian.
I didn't.
Because
I
said he's Christian, and that was like such a horrible pun.
Oh,
hey, we're all for horrible puns, dude.
Yeah.
We're down for him.
No, that's a good one.
I'm always for a good pun.
It's just also too maybe there's some things like in my AirPods too. They're like jamming frequency, but
I apologize to the audience who might be watching this for my bad pun.
Dude, the
that's
audience,
good. That's
if they don't enjoy bad puns, then they should just find another podcast.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. They should just go.
That's the intermission right there. Yeah, but that was mine. Something I didn't really expect, but I think it turned out pretty good. But it sounds like you watched. Adrian, did you watch that one too?
Hacksaw Ridge? Yeah, I love that movie. I have it. Yeah.
You did? Oh, you do have it. Okay, I was gonna say.
Have you watched Saving Private Ryan, Christian?
Saving Private? No.
I haven't. My grandpa, he has it on VHS, but it's the one of those. It's kind of those movies where you had to when you got it on VHS, like half the movie was on one tape and then the other half was on the other one. So that kind of like I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm just gonna watch Stuart Little. I think it's on
Amazon right now, actually.
Really?
Yeah, at 4K also. So
yeah,
you could watch it on an HD TV and it's gonna look way good.
It is on Amazon. Oh, you're right. Wow, because they probably remastered it too. It's
gonna look good. Kind of
fine tune it.
If you watch it,
Vin Diesel is in it. Oh my gosh.
I didn't want to show I don't want to reveal the cast because it's like there's some surprising cast I didn't even realize that were there.
Vin Diesel is in it, guys. Check it out. That is so cool.
You already know it's about family.
Just don't look at the cast anymore because it might reveal more.
Are you kidding me? Morgan Freeman, Andrew. What the Will Smith? Oh my!
Wow.
Whoa, that's crazy, yo! Donald Trump.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hey, best Donald Trump cameo, Home Alone.
I think that's the only Donald Trump cameo I've ever seen.
Hey, you know that
that's the only one I've ever seen.
You have to believe.
I don't. What else would he have been in?
Dude, he's in the MCU. I guarantee it. He's somewhere.
What do you mean?
He's in the.
They've shown the president in the MCU, and
it's he's like Iron Man in one of all multiverses.
Exactly.
Let's look. I'm looking. Okay, so he's been in a few. Like he's in a music video. He's in a TV special. He was in a movie called Marmalade.
Marmalade? I don't know, dude.
Marmalade.
No clue.
But anyway, I mean that's cool. Yeah, that's something I didn't really think about. You guys are really asking the good questions here. I didn't really think about that until you asked me that. But yeah, so Ellison, when you watch movies, do you typically watch them by yourself, or do you kind of just depends? Do you watch them with family, friends? What's the shindig?
I would rather have it watched with someone sometimes. Because I have this tendency, it's such a weird thing in my brain. For some reason, this happens not just in movies, in TV shows, in anime, and whatever. In like just watching a video, I have this tendency when I miss one small detail, like a sentence or a word, because my brain shuts off. I just have this tendency to just go get the remote all the way to the table, press back 10 seconds earlier, and try to read that sentence. And then try to hear it again. And this.
So do you read subtitles?
Yeah, so I try to like take in every detail. For some reason, I don't know, it just like
That's
appeared in
right.
my brain. And now for some reason it's like, but then when my like let's say I watch my dad or my mom or something, I that just doesn't happen because I don't want to embarrass myself. Just keep on playing back like every 10 minutes or
Yeah,
something.
but you want to really take it in.
But it's like a very annoying OCD. I think that's like an OCD thing I have. It's like I take in so much detail that for some reason, like a 20-minute like episode of a show could take up to 1 hour watching because I just play back so many times. For some reason, I don't know. It's such a weird thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
for the most part, I watch movies a lot by myself at the computer or like Amazon, Netflix, HBO Max or something. I prefer honestly I prefer watching in those streaming services than the PC because they tend to be at like 720p quality or 480p, and it's just like it looks like you're watching at a VHS or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those are the good old days.
True.
VHS. Love those.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's a VHS? Yeah, what is a VHS?
What was that one thing I was thinking about? Man, I was gonna ask you guys another question, but I just like completely forgot what it was.
Question?
Oh no. It's the interrogation stage.
No.
What was the worst? Okay, I have two actually. What was the worst film you ever watched that you hated so much? Or you just think it's bad? And what was the worst ever experience you ever watched in a film, like at a theater? Whether it's a good or a bad movie, it's like the experience that you had was so bad.
The experience? Oh man. All right. I gotta get mine. Adrian, do you have yours?
All right, I'm still thinking about it.
So there's this movie. When it comes to the movie itself, there's this movie I watched that came out kind of recently. It's called Old, and the whole premise is basically there's this beach. People stay there. It's like a magical haunted beach or something, and they find out they
old,
age.
I think.
Yeah, that was a
that
bad movie. That was a really bad for me. For me, at least, that says a lot because usually I always find like the positives, but that was.
It's so funny though, because the guy who directed it was like this director of, I think, the crappy Avatar movie. Oh yeah, that's a bad movie. I forgot that's a bad movie.
Really?
That was a bad
the blue one?
No, not the blue one. Not that guy. Not that guy. That guy was Cameron.
The guy with the arrow on his
Avatar
head.
and Avatar.
The Avatar Last Airbender movie.
Okay, I like that one more than this one because it was just I don't know, like that. I don't know if it was like the acting or just the storyline, but it was
the blue guys.
As I was sitting there, no, the old movie. But I was just sitting there. I just felt like this. And that never happens. I was just like, I mean, no hate, but that's just my opinion. Like, I didn't think it was good because it was just, I don't know. I was excited because I recognized some cast, but it was like one thing was happening, then the other thing was happening. That right when you find out, you kind of get usually in movies, they kind of give audience like a buildup of what to, just like a general plot. But I think this movie was everywhere. Like everyone was just trying to figure out what was happening. Like if this beach was haunted or if it was just an experiment or it was in someone's head. One person was going through something that kind of like was like the buildup, but then I forget that we're actually going to change it to this person who's going through something. And it was hard to keep track. But that was to me, like the movie was like, but yeah, but experience wise, I remember Nick Gordon, shout out to you, man. It was sophomore year and I went to see this movie with Nick. I don't know if Adrian was there. I think maybe you were, but Maggie was there. Sierra was there.
Yeah, then I probably wasn't.
Okay. But we saw a movie. I forgot what it was. Oh, geez. I forgot what it was. But freaking Nick Gordon. At this time, it was when I had like coming down from like this big crush on Maggie. And I was like, you know what? As long as if I don't do anything embarrassing, I'll fully come off as cool and everything. So Nick, dude orders Junior Mints. We're going to the movie and we're sitting there and he spills it all. Like he spills everything. And I'm sitting down. He's like, oh, by the way, I spilled some Junior Mints before you sat down. Like I don't know. Some of it came down. I was able to find some. I probably should have let you know. And then I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then he was like, okay, just want to let you know too, when I spilled it, it kind of went on your side a little bit. So I'm like, okay. And I was like, it didn't really click with me until a few minutes later. I'm like,
it's all over your
I'm
pants.
just kind of rocking back and forth. I'm like, huh. So I'm eating Junior Mints, and then one falls because I'm sharing with him, and one falls, and I pick it up because the land's right there. And then I pick it up, but I noticed it was like mushy already down there when I was picking it up. Like there's the one that I dropped, and I was there sitting like,
no.
And I got up, and dude, like the whole, like all these Junior Mints are there. I was like, oh my gosh, Nick, like what the heck? He's like, oh dude, that's so embarrassing, man. You gotta be careful next time. Like, what do you mean? You're the one that dropped the Junior Mints in the first place. So I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. So, and then he's like, okay, dude. I'm like, just don't tell Maggie. Because so how it was I was sitting on one side, it was me and Nick, and then Maggie and Sierra in the very back in the movie screen. And I was like, I'm just gonna play it off cool. I'm gonna walk. He's like, okay, dude, I'm like, dude, Nick, like, don't say anything. I'm gonna walk down. I'm gonna clean my pants. They won't even see because it's so dark. He's like, okay. I said, I got you, man. I got you. He's like, hey, Maggie, you got any napkins or something? Christian like shit his pants. Like, dude, what the hell? Like, what are you doing?
What are what's it called? Where are those mints again? Are they like
Junior Mints? It's like It's like Junior Mints are like dark chocolate coating. Inside, it's like this mint.
It looks like
cream or something.
I was like
but you sit on it and it mushes all over. And I'm walking.
No, it doesn't look like you shit yourself.
So I'm walking. So it was like that. And I walked all the way from one end. I was like, and I came over here. I'm like, guys, don't worry about it. I'm fine. I'm gonna clean myself. And I was in there for like a solid 30 minutes. I was with the guy. There was a guy in there, and I was just going like this at the sink. I'm like, man, I just wish that didn't happen. And he was like, he asked me, he was like, it smells like peppermint. I'm like, yeah, it's mint actually. It's mint. He's like, okay, that's cool. And I don't know, it's weird that he kept looking, or I noticed before he said that, he was like, I noticed him going.
He's like, maybe it's not peppermint. Maybe it's else.
Not. Because last time it wasn't peppermint with the other kid too. So maybe with this kid, it isn't peppermint as well. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, such a guy thing to do for Nick to be like,
yo, Maggie. He called him too, like, hey, yeah, he just grabbed himself and he needs assistance. Like,
that's rough, buddy.
That was my experience though.
All right.
Your turn.
All right. I have one. I'm not sure about Adrian yet.
Yeah.
All right. For worst film I've ever watched recently would probably be Space Jam 2.
Space Jam 2?
Space Jam 2. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Space Jam.
I watched the first Space Jam immediately before I watched this movie, just so that I could get an idea of like.
I like that one.
What the same kind of spiritual successor it might be to the first one.
Mm-hmm.
It did not live up to those expectations.
It didn't. I haven't seen it.
It is just such a consumer-based advertisement for all these things, and it's like imagine Warner Brothers trying to put every single IP they had into one single movie just because they want to advertise that they own all these movies. It's just like
one hurrah.
Like Ralph Breaks the Internet.
I love that one. I love the Emoji Movie. Oh, that girl. Jailbreak.
Space Jam, and those three are like the trinity of just the purpose of that movie is just to advertise something. Just to advertise something with just a generic plot, with no fun characters, no fun story, except for the fact that they're just meant to trick kids to buy this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the most. It's just an advertisement. That's what it is. That's just a commercial for like a thing. I just hate it. I hate it so much. I still hate it to this day. Thinking about that movie, it's like, why did I watch this movie? It's like,
why?
Who was in the movie again? LeBron. Like
LeBron James.
It's like they make like video gaming like the most like simplest thing. Like making a video game is like the most simplest thing in the world. Like that's not how making a video game is. They try to make it look like it's cool for kids, but it's probably just some coding thing or something. They make it look like it's like a high tech, like kind of like you got these you got a tablet, and you made this game on your tablet, and then you swipe it, and now it's on your computer, and it's like, wow, it's like so cool, so cool and high tech and awesome, and yeah, video games, wow, basketball inside of video games, so cool. And then LeBron James's like kid is like, I want to be a game developer, and then LeBron James is like, no, you must be a basketball player because your dream of being a video game developer that makes a lot of money sucks. He's like, basketball is better. It's like, I just don't understand this plot. And then Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, whatever.
Bugs Bunny. Mr. Bugs. That's funny. I haven't seen it, but now I'm probably gonna have that. You're
gonna watch it. And you're gonna enjoy. Probably you're gonna enjoy it, or you're gonna enjoy how bad it is. That's it.
Yeah. So it has to be one or the other. It can't be both.
Yeah. I think the worst movie that I've seen recently has been The Forever Purge. That one.
I haven't watched any Purge movie.
You watched that one with Nick, right?
Yeah. I went to go watch that with him.
Oh my god! Actually, I just remembered another movie that it's like it was so good at first, and then it goes down in like how do you say, it's like a exponential like kind of like slope or something. It just like goes downhill so fast. Called Halloween Kills.
That was a bet. Yeah, I watched that with my friend Nick. It was
one for 2018 was so good. I watched with my dad. That was one of the first horror movies I ever watched, actually, one of the first ones. And I liked it so much. I never watched the old Halloween until like later on. That one was the most favorite Halloween movie I've ever horror movie I've ever watched. 2018, such a good simple movie for a modern horror movie, because horror is like very rare nowadays. This one just like completely went back to what made horror movies so bad become so bad. This one is just like, it started off so good, and now like Michael Myers is now like a superhuman again. Somehow he's like the Avengers. Somehow he's like
resurrected.
Somehow he could take on 20 firemen with an axe and a chainsaw, handling himself.
That's right.
Even though he's been in the prison for how long? For like 30 years now. Just like, what do you do? Like, work out that entire time instead of just standing alone with a beard? It's man, I hate it.
That was it was interesting. I know what you mean. The frustration with the firefighter, that was
I think the worst experience. Actually, after I say this, I gotta bring in Adrian's opinion also about his other stuff, because I cut in a bit.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. Worst experience in a theater. Watched one recently, the last James Bond movie, No Time to Die. It was genuinely, at first when I finished it, it was like, and then when I think about it back then, it was like, if I didn't have a bad experience at the theater, I probably would have liked it more. Because the experience I had in the middle of the movie, there'd be these middle schoolers, I think, like below the seats, they would yell out that TikTok thing, oh no, our table, it's broken. They
so you just heard that on repeat.
They yell it every 30 seconds or every minute. They would yell it every single time. It's like they would not yell it, they would squeal it. Like squeal it enough for every audience to hear, and then we could hear their like middle school laughs, just like
like, so it would be on loop for you guys.
Yeah, and then everyone, it got so annoying to the point that everyone in the theater yelled out shh, just to make them shut up, but they wouldn't stop. After
universal that. Shush.
Like 2 minutes later, they would still continue on, and I got so pissed. I stood up, went downstairs, went to like one of the theater employees outside. I had to tell her like there were people disrupting, and then they had to call management, go inside, and then I went back upstairs, and then went back to my seat. The problem is, by the time I came back upstairs, I now had the urge to go back to the restroom. And then I went to go back all the way to the restroom. This was in the Tracy Cinemark. And when I went to the restroom, I come back and I had no context what's going on. I missed a very vital part of the movie that was very significant to probably the ending of the movie, actually, to like one of the big endings to this movie. And at the end of the movie, I was confused, like, what's the emotional weight of this movie? What's going on? Why is people crying? Why is why is this person crying at the end of the movie? I was like,
yeah.
And then I searched it up, and I was like, oh, That's why. It's because it's at the part where I missed and when I was at the restroom. They explained this when I was at the restroom and talking to that like employee or something. I literally missed the best parts, or the most not best, but like the best vital parts to watching this movie.
Like the elements.
It was because of these 3 kids who cannot shut up. Because of these 3 stupid kids who just think this TikTok meme that's gonna die within like 3 weeks is gonna be a funny joke to them at the theater. It's like, no, just shut up.
Yeah.
Let me enjoy it, right?
Yes, I know.
I see.
I'm still
man.
disappointed. I'm probably gonna rewatch that movie anyways, but I probably will love that movie.
Just in case, right?
Yeah, as far as cool, man.
As far as the worst movie that I saw in recent memory was again that recent Purge movie, The Forever Purge. And I think what turned me off the most about it was that it was very clearly a political statement kind of a film that was trying to make a very clear message, and the message was just one that I just thought was pretty stupid and
or repetitive, I guess.
Repetitive. I didn't really think that it was a very sound message. It felt a little preachy for me, as far as like it felt like it sacrificed a lot of storytelling elements just to try and like shove something down your throat that you were just like, I don't care about this, just like, what's the story, they're just like, no, right. Like you have to believe like that these people are like just all bad, and like it's and it's very heavily leaning towards a certain political ideology that I just cannot seem to get with. At least that's the way I read the film, and that's the way most people I think kind of walked away going like, that the whole movie was trying to tell us something completely different than what it should have been. It should have just been like a crazy action movie with people killing each other, and it was something different than that. And so I think that for me, in that, I can't say that it's the worst movie that I've ever seen, but in recent memory, I think that's the one that comes to mind. And as far as poor theater experiences, one time when I was a kid, I had this little Loch Ness Monster toy, and I left it in the cup holder thing, and I never saw it again.
Oh my god,
it was pretty.
That sounds traumatic, man.
It was actually traumatic. It was the worst thing ever. But then I forgot about it, and it's all fine.
All right, what was probably? I'll have another question. What was the most boring movie you've ever watched? It doesn't have to be worst, but just like boring experience.
Just boring.
That's a good question.
Just like made you want to sleep so many times, and you try to rewatch it.
I don't think as of right now, I can't think of anything. I remember falling asleep to, surprisingly, Andrew Garfield and Spider-Man 2. I remember I kept falling asleep to that. Not that it was bad, but it was just like the first time when it first came out, it was late with my dad, and I was like tired, so I conked down. And the next time it was also late, and then I was just like, so it's not a bad movie, just coincidentally all the times I would try to watch it, it would be really late, and I would just get tired. And
I just remembered actually a movie that was intended for kids, and it was a Disney movie, an action Disney movie, in 2010, where me, my mom, my brother, and I would go watch this movie because it's a PG movie, it's for kids, and it's going to be expected to be like a kids movie. The whole time, throughout the whole movie, me and my brother slept. And pretty much the only one who watched it was probably my mom or dad, assuming my mom didn't sleep. It was called John Carter.
John Carter. I actually liked that movie.
Really?
Wow.
I slept through, and then I heard, and then I haven't heard that movie in so long. And I looked at reviews, and it was like it was considered one of the worst movies, I think, if I remember.
Really?
Or just like the mixed movies.
All right.
And I remember watching the TV show Mad for Cartoon Network.
Mad.
Yeah, they made this parody of John Carter. They called it Jan Carter. And I was like, wow, I could so relate to this because I slept in the movie. I literally yawned. I literally slept through the whole movie.
They recognized it, huh? They recognized how it made people feel.
But I think probably the worst experience, the most boring movie I watched recently would probably be Eternals.
Eternals?
I remember Christian and I were in the theater watching Shang-Chi, and we saw the commercial for Eternals, and we both just kind of looked at each other and like, yeah, we're not going to see that movie because
the woman who directed it, I think she was like, it's like one of those kind of like artsy movies. I think it's like called Nomadland. It's like one of those top Oscar movies, but the reason why it's a top Oscar is because there's so much stuff that only critics, film critics, or people like film majors analyzing the movie would love, but mainstream audiences probably would get bored of it. And I feel like that's the case with this movie. It's like it might seem cool, and then cinematography wise, it was actually really, really good. It looked really amazing. It like every single shot looked like a good wallpaper, but in the end, it's just like the story was just made me want to sleep.
Yeah.
And plus, to make things worse, I watched this at 2:00 in the morning when I opened up.
See, so it was the time.
And
too.
I even had a friend. I told a friend about this, and that friend also said he watched it like probably late at night too, and he almost slept. I think he probably nearly slept in the first half of the movie. It was like, yep, exactly.
He conked out.
Yeah, I gotta say the movie that I was just kind of waiting to be over with in recent memory was the third Kung Fu Panda, Kung Fu Panda 3.
Really? Yeah, I know how you feel about that one.
Yeah,
I remember your concerns.
Kung
Fu Panda 3.
Kung Fu Panda
That was
3.
surprising. You know, I think when you set up, yeah, I mean, you have to really like. It takes a special kind of person in the film industry to kind of know. Like the chances you can take when it comes to, all right, we're going to make this one. It takes a special person, I guess, to when making a movie to rather build on it and keep it like preserve it in a way, or, you know, the other end of just people that kind of just, you know, build it down. So, I mean, that's hard too, because I'm not saying that all sequels are bad, because they're definitely good sequels like what we talked about. But I mean, I think I kind of see what you were talking about because we talked about it last time, but it does take someone, not even just a particular person, but just like kind of like with a special skill set like Liam Neeson to kind of know like the risks you can take when it comes to stories. So well,
Kung Fu Panda 1 was a solid movie. I think it set out exactly what it tried to do. Kung Fu Panda 2 improved on it, like you said. Like it took the people knew how to take that story in a good direction, I think. And then number 3, I think, was the example where it's just the bad people who don't know how to build on it, and so they could only kind of I think they took away a lot of the important story elements and just kind of catered it more towards kids, you know. And they didn't try to age the movie with the audience, you know, because a lot of people who saw Kung Fu Panda as a kid were older when Kung Fu Panda 3 came out, but they kind of downgraded it to like a very small childlike level instead of expanding on what it probably could have been. So again, I'm not a big deal. I'm not like a huge Kung Fu Panda dude, but like, you know, it's just one of those movies where I remember watching it in theaters and I was like, you know, I kind of want to leave. You know, I'm all right. You know, this is fine. You know, I'm okay. But you know, like
it wasn't crazy.
No, it wasn't anything where I was like, guys, we had to stay like after credits and all this stuff. Like
post credits, MCU.
What do you guys think actually would be? Because this got another 2 questions. I'm pretty much the interviewer now, actually.
I know.
Yeah, no, go on. Yeah, I was gonna say like, I want because I know you kind of get a few things.
What is a movie trend you want to see in the future? Because like, you know, 2010s was the definition of superhero movies. I think 2000s probably was like improvement on like computer graphics or something. I don't even know what 2000 was actually, but yeah, actually computer graphics probably, because they added crazy stuff there. But 2010s was like the age of superhero movies. By the end of it, you got Endgame finishing the decade, and
that's true.
And then 2020s, a lot of people like me kind of feel tired of superhero movies, and like it's probably they want to see something else. What do you think? Would you want to see in a new trend? And
like something that's more relevant.
Yeah, another question is, what do you want to see in a movie, or like what do you see a lot in movies that you don't want anymore? You don't want a trend that you want and a trend that you don't want.
I think, well, to answer the first question, I think that's something I would like to see more, and this is just because I like these kind of movies, would be like more historical films, more films that delve into stories from people in history, like people portraying like actual individuals and trying to, because I mean the past is filled with like amazing stories that we just don't touch on because we think they're old, but they're really like solid stories, that people can get a lot out of. So I think if people, I mean I've been seeing kind of an influx in some medieval stuff, but it hasn't really gotten like really mainstream, I don't think.
I think there's another movie called like I saw in the theater called Northman. It's like about Vikings. It's like that's like another historical. It's just a fiction movie though, but it's like a historical movie.
Yeah, I'm into that stuff. Like I don't know that movie that just recently came out, The Duelist, or something, or The Duelist, something like that. Something has to do with the duel, or The Last Duel, I think is what it's called.
Oh yeah, I saw it. It's on HBO.
Yeah, I don't know how good it is, but like just kind of movies like that I find interesting. Like the movie Troy, is one of my favorites with Brad Pitt.
Troy, yeah.
And Eric Bana, those two guys are solid.
Troy.
So.
Yeah. No, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Actually, I just remembered the movie that I didn't expect to be so good. It was a Free Guy.
Free Guy?
I
don't know why I didn't put that movie. Oh my gosh!
I thought it was gonna be I thought it was gonna be crappy, but I actually enjoyed it. It's like
Free Guy was amazing.
Christian, you told me that was like that's your favorite movie of all time.
I know. Maybe it's just like I'm hyping it up so much that I'm just looking at the subpar ones.
It's like I remember my friends told me some joke. It's like a Black Panther is for Black people and Shang-Chi is for Asians.
Free Guys.
And Free Guy is for gamers. It's like Free Guy is the Shang-Chi for gamers. Free Guy is the Black Panther.
I'm surprised. There are a lot of references to like a lot of games in that one.
Yeah.
Games and movies too, especially since it's coming on Disney Plus the 23rd. So be ready for that. It's gonna be wild. But Free Guy, you're right, Allison. You're right. Free Guy was amazing. I love Free Guy.
I think in terms of the question I asked, the trends, the thing I want more is because for the past, I think 2000s or 2010s, we've always been like heavily relying on franchises, or not franchises, but like something based around the 80s or 70s. So like Star Wars, for example, is an 80s property, and then it's like it comes from the 80s. It's like an 80s era thing. And then you got a lot of movies that heavily rely on 80s era stuff, like that take place in the 80s, like It, like the It movie. Yeah, and then it's very a lot of 80s stuff. What I want to see in future movies, hopefully by the next decade or the end of the decade, they make movies set in the 90s or the 2000s. And it's because a lot of people are always putting 80, like Stranger Things, for example, it's like a lot of 80s nostalgia. And then now, it's like a decade later, no one wants to watch more 80s stuff. Probably it's gonna get tiring. But like what if we get into the 90s era? What if we get into the era where like, I don't know, the dot com bubble blew up, or the
social media or
internet, social media, like Social Networks, a 2000s thing, but it actually looks like a 2010s movie, actually, now that I think about it. There's a lot of 2010 stuff in that movie.
I
see what you mean though.
Yeah, but
like branching out to that decade. I see.
The trend I don't want is a lot of nostalgia writing in movies nowadays. Let's see, I could think of a lot of titles: Jurassic World, Star Wars, not really Alien, probably Terminator. Yeah, Terminator for sure.
Terminator.
Matrix, the recent Matrix.
Like building on that stuff. I see what you mean.
Even though I like the movie.
You like the newest one?
Even though I like the movie, I'm gonna put in Spider-Man also, the last Spider-Man, kind of part of that too, kind of. What else other than that? There's one movie I remember. There's one movie, Ghostbusters, the last Ghostbusters. That was for sure the breaking point at which I got so tired at nostalgia baiting.
Really? Yeah.
It's like too much references. It's just like it's not It's not a story anymore. It's just like it's just to please the old guys who love the 80s movie for the originality, but now you're just pleasing the old guy because it's a reference to this original movie. It's like it's not an original movie like it was back then. You're just talking about the old original movie. That's not how the originality works about originality.
Yeah, I see what you mean. You want to keep it kind of
original.
like original.
I want to keep it original.
Yeah, original, like knowing when to stop.
Like 2010's Star Wars, it's like the whole story of Force Awakens is a copy of A New Hope because they couldn't come up with an original story. And then when The Last Jedi come out, a lot of people got mixed reactions to that, and then J.J. Abrams came back and then he directed the movie again, but even though the script was going to be original, he decided to change the whole script from start to finish and made it a copy of Return of the Jedi.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I don't like about movies.
Do you know more about that stuff than I do? So, but even so, like giving it that background, that's
yeah. You have you watched the last Star Wars movie, The Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, I've watched all of them. I think Adrian's watched it too.
Yeah.
I don't like how they sidelined a lot of the good characters. Like, what's his name? Finn from The Force Awakens started out so good. He was going to be Stormtrooper with this lightsaber. And then by the second movie, he got sidelined into riding a horse in a casino. And then the third movie, he got sidelined again, riding a horse, but on top of a flying ship.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah,
I think that
I think the script of the old movie, or the old script of the last movie was, he was gonna be in Coruscant and the old like prequel,
the planet,
prequel planet, and he was gonna lead lead an entire revolution in the planet, and he was gonna convince all the stormtroopers in the planet to join his side, and then they were gonna all rebel against the entire like new empire into this like giant like revolution while he's holding a giant flag, and then all of the people from other planets just come in and just like save the day. It's like Endgame, but like actually it is Endgame.
Yeah, pretty much.
See, that sounds epic though. That sounds epic.
Because I didn't like about this movie, it's like their Endgame moment was just like it's just them just teleporting into the planet. That's it. That's like no context, no build up. It's just like they just arrive out of nowhere because what's his name, Lando just comes in.
Yeah, that would be cool. The potential for what could have been. I see that.
Yeah, if you could search it up. It's called the original. You can search it up on Wikipedia. I think Star Wars Duel of the Fates. That's what the original title is going to be.
Duel of the Fates.
It was going to be called Duel of the Fates.
Yeah, the theme song of Darth Maul. Completely ironic.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean the name is cool.
I love that soundtrack.
Yeah,
the name would have been cool. That sounds like it would have. They come up with cool names. Story is a little bit harder because it's more than a sentence long.
Like The Last Jedi sounds cool. With the movie, it's just like,
is it cool?
I remember seeing this comment when The Last Jedi was revealed its title, and it was like someone joked around saying like clearly the Return of the Jedi didn't work out so well.
Because now it's the last one.
Oh yeah.
Because now after like 2 movies, they could not return again. It's their last one again.
That is interesting that you have the Return of the Jedi, and then all of a sudden when you go to these modern movies, like the Jedi are just like this ancient myth, like it's like what happened to the whole returning thing?
Yeah, the whole jump. What happens to everything? I see. Yeah, you guys have good points about like kind of knowing. I think that's if you really do appreciate movies, everyone's different, but I think the one thing that you can kind of agree on is just if you appreciate movies, you kind of appreciate preserving them too. So I think that comes with the whole like knowing when to stop making remakes or sequels. One thing I'm looking forward to is kind of there's a lot of new shows coming out where they're introducing different characters or just I'm interested in seeing or just even characters from movies.
That would be one movie,
kind of like taking them out, like Obi-Wan or Marvel, how they're like introducing new stuff. People kind of, I think they were so dedicated to a time when it was first beginning in this little sphere of like Iron Man and everyone, but I'm interested in seeing where they'll go with like taking, not necessarily like remaking like the same plot like as a sequel, but kind of just taking it and being like, okay, so what was like their story like? Because I do enjoy kind of seeing that and how it ties in, kind of seeing how these people relate to the movies that we love so much. One thing that I wish, like a trend that I wish wouldn't happen.
Amazing suggestion.
Amazing suggestion.
Yeah, you just said it right now. Amazing.
Amazing. I said amazing.
Yeah. What you just said right now, that was amazing.
Oh, what I said. That's my suggestion.
We need more mms in the movies.
Yeah.
I don't. One trend. I don't know. To be honest, there's like so many. The direction where movies are going right now. I see areas where they're experimenting, and I see other areas where they're kind of learning how to preserve it. I think we lived in a good age of movies where not only we have all these new things like computer graphics, and we've built on a solid era of movies enough to where we can kind of start being, okay, how can we switch it up, or what did we do that worked? So we kind of have a history of experimenting like a decade or so about what worked and what didn't work. And so this isn't really contributing to things I wish they would stop. Because to be quite honest with you, I can't think of anything on the top of my head, but I think adding on to the things that I'm excited to see, and just like a comment on that, is like realizing where we've come from when it comes to like movies and the techniques that have worked in the long run. I think the biggest thing is like Marvel, and I think people can kind of see like what they did right and what they did wrong, or other companies as well. I'm just excited to see how that pans out with other things as well as new things being introduced.
Yeah, I think that the thing that probably most, or the thing that I would like to not see in the future, is more kind of like every movie is kind of like this world-ending event thing. Like if we don't do something, the world's gonna end. I would like to see more movies.
That's another one.
I would like to see more movies that are more tailored toward like just like individual stories that aren't like so like, if you mess up, maybe like, yeah, the character has consequences, the family has consequences, people around him, but like the whole world, I feel like doesn't always have to be at stake. You know, you don't always have to be like, if we don't do something, everything's just gonna implode. Like,
it's
you know
like,
what I'm saying?
As new movies come out, it's like, oh, you said that it was gonna explode last time, but no, but for real this time.
Yeah.
The next time it's gonna be like, nah, for real.
So I feel like it kind of gets repetitive where you're like, how many times can the world almost end? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just kind of.
What was that one movie?
Endgame.
It's like Marvel movies nowadays. It's like it begins with like, oh, this probably like this, like in Iron Man 2, this expo is gonna blow up with all these war machines or something. And then you move on to Avengers, and it's like, these aliens are gonna invade Earth, and Earth is gonna be destroyed. And then you move on to, let's say, Avengers: Age of Ultron. It's like, oh, there's this bad guy named Ultron, and now Earth is gonna be destroyed by this guy named Ultron. And it's like, it gets.
There's always something.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Thanos is gonna come and kill every half of everyone, and it's like, yeah, actually, well, that one actually did work, but
I feel like,
but that was actually when the stakes were actually pretty high, actually, but it gets repetitive. It's just like kind of like but then at the same time, I can't blame them, because it's like it goes on this curve that goes up. It's like goes from a small city to now a big city, and now like the whole planet, and now you gotta like save like the entire universe, and now you gotta save the entire multiverse, and now you gotta save the whole
there's always high stakes. I mean, I guess in a way that's kind of like how you appeal to people, because if it's in a way, imagine seeing a trailer,
basically.
Imagine seeing like a trailer where it's like, oh, it would be cool if we stopped this dude, but nothing really will happen. Like Thanos, like, oh yeah, we should come back to that someday, but right now let's go grocery shopping. or something. That's like such a minor scale, like something, but like,
let's go get some Ben and Jerry's ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because I think it has to have that appeal of going through some change. I agree that it probably doesn't have to be always so drastic. It could be something more personal. Like, I mean, and I think we're going back to Endgame a lot because it has a lot of examples. But Endgame was like everything, but there are a lot of movies where it was just like a personal matter where it wouldn't affect really any other characters, but this person, it was a big deal. But
well, I mean, even if it's like a movie like Troy or something where the stake is the city, right? The Greeks are coming to destroy and sack Troy, right? And the Trojans are just trying to defend their land. It's like, that's high stakes, you know, like people, like when the Greeks get through, the Trojans are going to get raped, murdered, pillaged, and all that. Like, that's stakes, you know. But it's very focused, and that's what I like about certain stories like that, where it's very kind of dialed in. Like, you are here in ancient Greece. There's a city called Troy. The Greeks are after it because of some, you know, infidelity, and you can get wrapped up in that kind of drama or whatever. And then, you know, if Troy falls to the Greeks. If the Trojans are able to defeat the Greeks, then they get to keep their city. And it's like, those are the stakes. But it still keeps you invested, even though it's not like, well, the whole country might fall. The whole, you know, half of this world might get destroyed or something. It's just a bit more, I think it's a bit more nuanced. And I think you can find a lot more unique elements in that than just kind of always having it be the world or the universe, that kind of a thing. Which, again, you know, Marvel, it's a superhero thing. So what do you expect? You know, of course it's going to be grander than life, you know. But I feel like a lot of other movies kind of unnecessarily take on that world-ending trope just because, you know, well, the superhero movies do it so that maybe we can kind of share from that. But I think that it's important to know that, you know, movies don't always have to be imitating Marvel or imitating whatever the trend is. You know, movies can just be their own individual thing that just, it can be radically different than whatever is mainstream, but it can still be just as good and just as entertaining, you know. So
right, yeah, they're finding that area, finding that line.
Do you guys have a favorite how do you say it, movie suggestion?
Good question.
Because I gave you guys suggestions, but I want to see what you guys suggest. Well, actually, Adrian suggested me already some movies. So.
Yeah, I gave Allison some suggestions.
You know, there's a lot of.
I think, well, if you want maybe like an underrated movie, I would say this is an animated movie. This is the only animated movie on my list. It's called A Cat in Paris. I think
that one. Should, yeah, I remember a little bit of that one.
I think people should watch that film. That's it's good. I'll just say that it's good.
We watched a little bit of that one. Movie suggestion. You know how I track the movies I watch and the ones that I go through it is on Google, and Google has this really cool tool where it's like what to watch, and you go through and rate some movies already, and they actually do a pretty good job with suggesting new movies to watch. You just type in like what to watch, and you just go through. You can already like select movies too. There's a little tool, I think you can do it on your phone, where if it's like select movies and you rate them, and the more you rate, the better your suggestions are. So that's how I've been finding a lot of my movies lately. I trust Google with my movies because they do a really good job.
But then there are like Google users who could be very biased to this like very niche 80s movie that's like probably...
I mean, even so, like it's good. Like there's some movies I haven't even heard of at all, and there's like, oh, okay. But it was a good movie, so I mean, it kind of did its job if it was a good movie.
Right.
Regardless of like the bias or anything, but yeah. What is a good?
All right. Well,
there's this movie with who's the guy, the younger Professor X dude?
James McAvoy.
Yeah, he was in a movie with Angelina Jolie.
Oh, Wanted.
You probably I'm sure.
I haven't watched that, but I already know that like I saw like a spoiler of a movie somewhere. Like,
okay, well, that's the one I would recommend.
Someone's death, but for the most part, I haven't really watched the movie.
Yeah, Wanted. That's the one that stuck with me that I would always recommend because it was cool. There was like action. It was
like the bullets just like.
Yeah, where it was like he curved the bullet.
And then I remember like Mythbusters made like an entire episode of like,
in the end they're like, no.
Is it possible to do that when you swing your arm, even at like the most like I don't know, like
wait with a bullet? Like
Yeah, so he curved the bullet by going like this.
He swings
and then
his
shooting.
arm. That's their technique as super assassins.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love how Hollywood people think, like, the way physics works sometimes. They're like, that makes sense, you know, like,
yeah.
just swing the gun super fast and the bullet will like. That's funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that would be mine though. That's it. That's mine.
That's solid. Well, I guess.
Have you guys ever watched Looper?
Looper? No.
No, but it's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. Maybe I should watch it.
It's a really good movie. It's the guy who directed The Last Jedi, and I was surprised when I watched it because I kind of got tired of The Last Jedi. When I watched that movie and Knives Out, that's another movie suggestion. Knives Out.
I've watched that one. Yeah,
I like that one a lot. Those two are those two I liked so much from the same director too, and this one movie actually, it's like the whole movie is just investigating. That's it. There's nothing important. It's just investigating. It's called Spotlight.
Oh, Spotlight. See, I swear, listen, you should do something where it's like on your Instagram or something, like you like, even if it's like a post, like one post on your story or something, just like
break down
movie
movies
recommendations. Break down movies, because I think you keep going about these.
I'm not that big of I'm not big of a talker. So I'd probably.
You're so good right now, man.
Like
doing a good job.
the not talker per se, but like write down analysis of like the movie, or like in like a what's it called, in a review. It's like I can't really make like an essay worth of like probably not even a paragraph. I could just probably write down like some cool points of it, and that's it, and then give it a rating. That's it.
Well, even so, I mean, you're doing a good job, man. I mean, as we're coming to the point now where we kind of talked a lot about movies and kind of what makes a good movie and our expectations for some, I think. Thank you for first suggesting this, because I think this is something that you can really go in depth with, but it's something that I know for our viewers, because we started the podcast with kind of a base, like a build up towards like a Christian, people from the Christian faith. And I know for sure, for a fact, that not every single listener of the podcast is not of the faith. And I think it's cool to talk about something in depth, because I know Adrian and I, we can do this like all the time, talking about faith in depth. But something that's more universal, that can relate to like a lot of people, even if you aren't Christian. I think that's a cool topic. So you bringing it up, like, that's a good. Thank you for bringing that up, man. And I just wanted to say that, like, I don't think I said that in the beginning. Maybe I did, but it was just a good point that I wanted to reiterate. And Adrian
was it the Christian thing I said?
Oh no, not even that. No, I was just saying, like, because
I was just saying like a pun of your name. That's it.
Yeah, no.
I thought that was
in
like
general.
I thought you were
just in general.
You were bringing it up because I said that you thought like I was saying something religious related. I was like,
no. This, it's just like a separate point, because I know that we do talk a lot about like faith on this channel. That's like kind of what the whole premise is. But here and there, we do like to have fun with it, and we always have a good time with it.
Yeah,
something
when it comes to this, it's cool. Spotlight, actually, it's about. I'm not sure. Have you heard of it, Adrian?
What is it? Spotlight. No, I have not.
I think it got like the most Oscars actually at that time, or like became the best picture. All it is just these guys from New York investigate, or from Boston, they investigate like a Catholic church, and they find out all the what's it called, pedophile priests that were going on around that area, and it's like the process of how they do it, and then like how they do these interviews, and throughout the whole movie, it just usually like these movies that's just a lot of talking, it usually gets me sleepy and boring. And then the whole time, that movie never got me sleepy at all. It got me captivated at like how these guys discover all these like terrible things that happened in that church, and even the Catholic Church actually approves of this movie and respects what they did to this movie, even though it's like it kind of ruins like the reputation from like the American like Catholic Church. But
yeah, well that's a big thing. I mean, in Catholic churches, the pedophilia and stuff. So I mean, it makes sense that they made a movie about that. But Yeah, I mean that's definitely that's a heavy topic to deal with, and I know what you mean where those like movies can get kind of drone on for a while. So the fact that it was able to keep you captivated, like that's I get that definitely says something. But
yeah, for sure, man. Ellison, before we kind of coming to a close, I just wanted to ask you something. I know that for Adrian, well, if I don't know, do you actually have any other questions for us? Ellison, no. I had a question. I was talking to Adrian. If you had anything you wanted to ask or movie.
Oh, no.
Okay. I wanted to ask Ellison something that's kind of more open ended. Isn't just a yes or no. When it comes to movies, we all have our own attachments to them, and something that we look forward to every time we watch it. My reasons are different than Adrian's, and everyone else. It's like everyone, when they approach a movie, there's something about it that entices them. If you don't even have to be a whole movie nerd to really appreciate a movie, but there's something in each movie or just the idea of movies that really captivates someone, that really reaches out to them. So what is, for you personally, what is something, as we come to a close, what is something that you appreciate about movies, or just your thought on movies, something that is
that just a unique take with me
to you? Yeah, something that's a complete unique take to you. Like what is it about movies?
The thing that always, well, at least the one that I always love to rewatch and just sticks to me, and just like when I rewatch, it's like still gives me that like same feeling when I watch it. Probably two movies, Shawshank Redemption and Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump is a good one.
Both are just drama movies, and at the end just gives you that like wow feeling. It's
like taking you back, huh?
Yeah, it's like at the end of the first time I watch it, it's like that was such a good movie. Second time you watch it, that was such a good movie. Third time you watch it, that was such a good movie.
It was one of those consistent ones.
Like it's like watching like a movie from back then. Usually I watch it now, and then you kind of notice that the pacing is like a bit too fast, even though back then when you watched it, it was like it felt perfectly right. And then but this one is just like these two is just like yeah, it's just like it's slow at first, but then it's like it builds up to like something so good.
For sure.
Yeah. And I will say, Adrian, before I turn it on over to you, I just want to say, Ellison, thank you again, seriously, for suggesting this topic. I had a lot of fun diving into the whole aspect.
We could talk about maybe video games next.
Video games. Adrian is actually, he's the one, if you playing video games out of both of us, he's the one that
I actually do not play that much video games. I actually don't know that much about video games.
I don't play video games at school here, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Angry Birds.
Angry Birds. Yeah, my favorite.
I do remember that one of my most favorite video games was actually the center of controversy in 2018, I think. It was
that was the name, Center of Controversy.
No. It's it was called Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Battlefront.
Oh, I remember that game.
Yeah,
I do remember
that one was one of the most controversial games because it had some microtransactions that like caused a lot of lawmakers and it's like internet forums to blow. It blew up in the internet, and then a lot of lawmakers in the United States and a lot of politicians started talking about the ethics of like monetization in video games and like whether it's gambling or not. And that it was because of that game specifically that brought this whole conversation of politics into video games, of like in terms of money and like whether it's really gambling to have loot boxes or not. It was because of that game, but that game became good later on, actually. So
I didn't even know that about Battlefront 2, but that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's cool about like the history of some of these things.
You should have seen, like, you could just read up on it, but it was like the controversy could be like pages and pages long, and it's just like just for a simple thing that they did over just buying a few skins. That's it, or buy Luke Skywalker or something in the game. That's it.
And now you're a gambler, and now you're
the whole transaction of it. Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Taking a risk. Yeah, I mean, that would be cool. Something about gaming, that's cool. And even if we could get your brother on it too, or maybe next time.
You could talk to my brother about probably art or something. You could go on for 2 hours.
Art, yeah. Art.
What else? YouTube maybe. what's it called? Reaction channels, like I told you guys earlier.
Yeah. You were talking earlier before we started about how to do reaction videos and stuff like that for YouTube.
Yeah, I wanted to try that. I think with my family.
You'd be good at it, yeah.
But you have to be too dedicated, and I couldn't do that. If you had like a couple friends, because the thing is that if you just watch it by yourself, not that many people probably watch it. It's like, but if you have a lot more people with you watching with you, and it's like a group reaction, you might get a lot of attention from people because more people. Because the way I think a friend told me is like, reaction channels are basically like watching a movie with a friend that you never had.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
basically it. But if more people are in the YouTube video watching that movie, then it's like watching with like a friend group, basically.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean that's a topic that we could also go.
Yeah, you guys just do a reaction channel and then you get a lot of money out of it.
Get paid for it.
Guys, we'll start a Patreon soon. You link it in the description.
The Patreon, it'll be down there. It'll be down there.
Make it, what's it called? Another channel. Art of Awesomeness Reactions.
Yeah, the Art of Awesomeness Reactions or something like that.
Yeah, man. There we go. These are the big ideas.
Reaction of Awesomeness.
Reaction of Awesomeness.
The big ideas over here, man.
Like I say, Alison, even off camera, you've given us a lot of really good insights and suggestions, and really this whole podcast, I think, is really
trying to help you out, guys. You might get that bag soon if you get a lot of viewers in like the next few years or so.
We're
so
expecting
if you guys get that bag, then you best be thanking me and hopefully giving me some of that bag.
Yeah, for sure. We'll give you like 85% of
Venmo
me like I don't know, like $100.
Oh, shoot, we don't have Venmo.
You get 50%, 200% of all our profits.
Oh, easily, 200%.
200%. But this was a good topic. So thank you seriously for suggesting this, Elson, and for taking the time to come out and
and for even reaching out to us again, like
for reaching out.
That alone just means a whole lot that you even reach out to us.
Next time you guys should invite who else have you put in the other than Nick and Lucas?
Tucker,
we got Mason,
Angelo. Oh, in the lineup? Mason,
Michael Campos.
Yeah, we got him.
Two teachers, Mason. Yeah, we got a few people.
Actually, I remember I have something here that was. My brother has something funny. Let me make it all right. Wait. Let me try to make my background actually. This.
Oh my God! Is that Mr. Campos?
What?
I remember my brother made like a buff Campos.
No way!
That's
a buff
such
Campos.
A spot on.
How do I rotate it? 90, right there.
Oh my God!
Wow! Take a picture of that and send it to him now, folks.
That is perfect.
That is amazing. That's awesome.
It's so funny.
Man,
did Mr. Campos see that?
I don't even know.
Dude, you gotta send that to Campos, man. He loved that.
I just remember he made it or something, and then I just don't know if he's seen it.
Dude, you have to send that to him. That'd be amazing.
All right.
Send it, Ellison. Take a picture. Don't forget about us, man. But seriously, thank you for coming on, Ellison, and reaching out. That's a big thing.
Yeah, Ellison, when you're famous, make sure to shout us out, okay?
We always try to advocate for people that reach out. So the fact that you did means mountains to us, Ellison. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us tonight, Ellison. You're the best, man.
Oh, hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Ellison. Discussion with Ellison. Really discussion. Interview would be like getting to know him.
Yeah, I think he actually interviewed us more than anything. He was asking us questions and stuff, getting our opinions on stuff. It was cool.
He asked a lot of good questions.
He did.
Yeah, towards the end especially, he asked a lot of good questions. But thank you first off for Ellison for coming on. And just a reminder that he brought up the topic of movies. It doesn't have to be that. It can be something else. And Ellison, he reached out to us with something that he thought would be fun to talk about. So we kind of worked around that and ended up talking about it, which is something that we really like too.
Yeah. But we're actually more into that I think than most people probably think, Right.
Yeah. So again, Ellison is just a great example so far that we've had of someone that reached out and really wanted to, even doesn't even have to be anything like movie related. It can be like funny or serious, whatever you guys are into. If you don't know what you want to talk about, but you still want to be on, we could figure that out too.
Yeah.
But we really do appreciate Ellison taking the time out of his day, even to just reach out and giving us the idea in the first place, and then taking it a step further by wanting to be on the podcast, which is something that we always advocate and we always love. Engagement
for sure
from the listeners. So that's an example. Ellison, you're listening to this right now, thank you so much for coming on, and I had a great time talking with you about that stuff.
Surprise 2-hour special.
Yeah, surprise.
Yeah, by the way, if you guys made it to this point in the video or the podcast, thank you for staying this long. We appreciate you.
Comment down below, I made it.
Yeah, honestly, just do that. Just so we know, it's like one comment. It's like Sophie or something. She's just like, I made
it. I made it. Yeah, let us know, publicist Sophie or Ellison, if you're listening to this again, because I know a lot of people do watch us on YouTube too, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
I mean that's also the platform where most people can engage directly. But
that is true, also.
Yeah.
Woo! Anyway,
Adrian.
With that, of course, we have the Bible verse of the day, and the Bible verse I have today is Proverbs 29, verse 1, and that reads, "He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy." And so what that verse is basically saying is that, people who are often reproved, which basically reprove just means, corrected on something, if someone corrects you on something, they're basically reproving you, right? Of an action. And so basically what this verse is saying, that he that being often reproved hardeneth his neck. So basically someone who is kind of too prideful to take advice or to take reproof from people. Like if someone offers you correction, but you're just kind of like saying, no, I don't need your correction. My way is always right, kind of a thing. You're going to be suddenly destroyed, and that without remedy, because you're not heeding the advice and the wisdom and counsel of other people who are just trying to help you by correcting or reproving you. If you kind of stave off reproof and you stave off correction, then you're just going to end up becoming someone who kind of self-destructs, because you're not
into that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So it's a Proverbs is a book where there's a lot of kind of warnings towards, not heeding towards wisdom and just kind of blindly going through life without trying to really, trying to accept correction or wisdom to implement in your life. And so basically, Bible's don't harden your neck to this stuff is kind of a phrase, don't harden yourself to these things and just kind of act like you're too good for reproof or correction, because we can always stand to be reproved and corrected on something, because none of us have it all figured out. So very good verse right there.
Yeah, be open. Kind of like an example of how like a father and a son, and how the son kind of heeds advice from the father because he knows best.
Right.
Even if he doesn't like it, but it's for his own good and building his own character.
I mean, we've all been told something in the past that we didn't want to hear, but you kind of needed to hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Do you clean your room?
Jordan Peterson, no. Yeah. But yeah, I just got this I followed this account, this King James Bible Verses account on Instagram. They have like a daily verse kind of thing, and so we're not sponsored by them at all or anything like that, but totally sponsored. Yeah. But I don't know. I've been going through their verses. They've been having some pretty good verses. So if you want to check that out, get some daily verses. That's always a good thing.
Down below or whatever's easier if you guys.
Yeah.
Otherwise, hey, keep coming back every Sunday and we'll give it to you. But if you want something every day, then go follow that account.
Go do that. But yeah, overall, good conversation. I think that was a successful episode.
That was. It was good too. I was actually kind of surprised at how of how like the direction that we took. Some of the what is that? It's not even an interview. It's just towards the end. It was an interview. It was like towards us.
Yeah.
Asking a lot of good questions, like like trends, things about trends. And Ellison, he even introduced us during the episode for a website, I think.
I think it's called Letterboxd. I made an account on it. That's how I ranked all of my different movies and stuff, was just using that.
Yeah.
But I actually had the idea of, again, I don't know how many people will make it this far, but I haven't we're recording it right now, so I obviously haven't edited the episode, but I think it'd be cool if I put like the posters of the movies that we talk about as we talk about them.
Oh, as we talk about them?
So people can get a better idea. So if I ended up doing that, that's great. But, you know, I don't know.
Oh my God, animation, movie.
No!
Oh, big, small.
I think there's only been one time where you've actually done that, where I went through with it. Just actually, you know.
Whoa, lightning. Whoa, lightsaber. Whoa.
No.
Green.
Finn.
Red. This is every color. Oh, you probably look so cool in post.
Probably does. In some alternate universe.
Oh, Spider-Man. Open portal.
Oh no. Well, anyways.
Well, again, as always, folks, thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys want to reach out to us, if you're on YouTube, comment down below. We also have our socials and everything. Adrian, Kiswani, and Christian Caito. Same format. I think we got pretty lucky that we have unique. We also have pretty unique names, enough where we can just put our name as
I know. I've always been really happy that I wasn't named like John Smith or anything, because then like how many of those there are there, you know?
Like John Smith 1, John Smith 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I've looked up my name before, like on LinkedIn. Remember when you, me, and Sophie and the other people were making like a bunch of LinkedIn accounts? I just put Adrian Kiswani, but then when you search it up on LinkedIn, like there's no other Adrian Kiswanis out there, and I was like, oh, that's nice.
Unique, right?
Yeah, it's like Christian Caito. That's
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, Adrian Kiswani is like a nice, foreignly, uniquely creative name. Yeah, I don't know. Again, reach out to us, guys. Thank you for listening. We love to have you on. Even if you're a new listener, we want to get to know you. So reach out to us. Everything will be there. Art of Awesomeness on Instagram.
Yep.
AOA clips. If you want a little bit of a snippet, you can find that on our channel. We also have an awesome website.
You want a little bite-sized?
Not created by Wix, because that is a scam. You don't need Wix to have.
All you need is Google Sites, man. Just Google Sites.
I've never seen anybody advertise Google Sites like, this video is sponsored by Wix. It's like,
it's always like Squarespace or Wix or something.
This video is sponsored by Google Sites, guys.
If we reach 100 subscribers, we'll make a Squarespace account and we'll hype it up.
We'll just say go to Google Sites.
It's like 404 error, like nothing here.
404. I wonder what's for error. Huh? Thank you guys for listening. Adrian,
What's that?
You have anything else to say to the audience?
No, just thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it.
Oh.
And I guess don't wear polos because.
Oh, I forgot you're wearing a polo.
Hey, I got it from my cousin. All right, I accepted the gift generously.
Such a nice man, Adrian. But don't make his mistake, folks. Family is not that high on the roster. Just don't wear a polo.